Hello and welcome everyone to Jack Plotnick's acting workshop. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Thank you for the applause. I can see you guys in your little windows. You guys are going to do your, all the money today went to charity, and it's a really terrific charity, and you can read the info in the description. But you're all going to get up and you're going to do your scenes one at a time as if you're auditioning for the role, and then just you and I will discuss your experience of it. And if you have any questions at all while we're doing this workshop, you can go like that into the camera and I'll see you, and then I can bring you up to the screen. We're going to do, I think, 4 performances, and then we're going to take a really quick break. And you guys can come and go as you like. Okay, so everything I teach, you can read for free on my website in a free ebook called New Thoughts for Actors. So if I talk about anything today that you would like to hear more details about, you can just go to the book here at this web address and get more info on it. But essentially what I teach is that acting's fucking easy. Yeah, because I can say that because I define acting on film as behaving as if it's really happening, and that's it. In other words, you just play pretend. You just behave as if it's really happening. So it's really easy to do that, but it's really uncomfortable to do that. Isn't it? You feel vulnerable and tense, and your heart's racing, and your stomach is full of butterflies. And that's a good thing, because that's called excitement. And that's what makes magic happen in front of the rolling camera. I like to say that my racing heart plugs me into my higher power, the magic of acting, and it kind of guides me through the audition, and I feel as if the audition happened to me. I discover the scene in the process of auditioning, and it's different each time. So the excitement's a good thing, but fear is the enemy. And fear is simply the feeling you feel when you have a negative thought around the concept of the audition, like you're not prepared or they don't like you, And when you have these negative thoughts, it makes you feel fear, anxiety, and that's the enemy of the artist. So that's why I tell actors, you've got to move that negative, mean-spirited ego voice outside your head and see it instead like this vulture squawking on your shoulder. And by doing that, you just change your whole life, because you finally stop self-identifying with the negative voice and you've created the real you, the one who's listening to that crap. And now you can say what you need to say to your vulture to let them know, I'm not interested in what you're saying, so you can just shut up about that. Okay? So if I was sitting where you guys are and knew I had to perform a scene today, my vulture would be saying a lot of mean things right now about how I'm not prepared and I have to impress these people, right? And so I would be saying the following things back to my vulture based on what he's saying. And you can pretend you're saying this to your vulture if you like, okay? Here are some of the things I'd be saying. I release and destroy my need to control this audition today. I'm not strong enough to control it. Whenever I try it, it just ruins it. So instead, I'll just ask my higher power, a racing heart, to lovingly guide me through it. And however it goes today, it was meant to go. Even if it's badly, then good. It was meant to go badly. Somehow my higher power knows it needed to go badly today. Now my vulture might be saying, you have to be impress Jack or be as good as these other people. You have to be a good actress. And I'd say, no. I release and destroy my need to be a good actor. I'm not even an actor. I'm just here to be me and enjoy playing in the circumstances of the scene. That's all I'm here to do. Then it would be saying, you're not memorized enough. You didn't work enough on it. You didn't rehearse enough, and to which I would say, I'm going to take it from where I am. I can't be more memorized. I can't be more rehearsed. I'm just going to take it from where I am. So however I'm feeling, however prepared I am, is a fine place to begin this scene today. And when the scene begins, I'm just going to approach it like an improv, as if I was doing an improv about being in those circumstances. And by the way, I don't rehearse. So that's not even something I even do unless it's right before a sitcom audition. That would be the only circumstance in which I would do a thing that other people call rehearse. Now, if I was doing a drama scene today, I would want to make sure that I don't get involved in acting with a capital A and all the things actors get involved in a drama audition, because acting in a drama on film is a mirror of real life. So you don't actually want to be involved in anything you wouldn't be involved in if this wasn't actually happening to you. So I like to remind myself these three things because they remind me how I live my life. And that is, number one, I'm not going to make any choices, but more importantly, I'm going to allow them to happen to me based on the circumstances. Number two, oh, and by the way, if nothing happens, that's fine, because an audience can project on nothing. Nothing is better than some choice that I schmacked into the scene. I'm going to try, and because if nothing is fine, I can really not panic and make choices, and instead just see what choices happen to me when I behave as if this scene is really happening to me for the first time. Number two, the words, I'm not going to deliver them. I'm not going to color them. They're going to tumble out of my face. I'm going to throw them away. I have faith. I have the character's thoughts and feelings, and the words I'll just throw away like real life. And number three, I hope Jack and all those people out there feel so fucking uncomfortable watching me do this drama audition today. And I'm going to do that by not taking care of the scene at all, but instead and only being interested in my experience of behaving as if this is really happening to me for the first time. Now, if I was doing a comedy, I would want to remind myself that I release and destroy my need to be funny. No. I am just here to tickle myself. I'm here to tickle myself with my own genuine, spontaneous human behavior. Humans are weird, and I'm just tickling myself with my own weird, genuine human behavior. And lastly, that I release and destroy my need to impress these people here today. As a matter of fact, I could hate them if I wanted to, though I'm not really going to hate them. But you know what? I give myself permission to hate all these people here today. Who gives a fuck what they think? Fuck them. Wouldn't it be great if those were the thoughts you were putting in your head as you're walking into the audition room? Instead of what pops into your head out of habit because you've said it to yourself so many times, which is something more like, oh shit, get it right. Does anybody out there, and you can again wave your hand if you do, have any questions about, I call all that I just went through my actor affirmations, and they're the first chapter in my free book. So I see you have a question. Yes.
Hi. You mentioned that you do rehearse prior to a sitcom audition, or rehearse. Is that just to get the timing of the lines, or what's the reason?
Timing is a result-oriented word. And any result-oriented concept will never help you to better behave as if it's really happening. So I would never use that word. What I do is, and rehearse is not a word I use. So even just saying you rehearse is not really how I put it. What I'd say is, at a sitcom, I do my scene comprehension out in the parking lot. I get there early, so I've got time to do this process. I do my scene comprehension, which is where you look at the script and say, this is really happening to me. So what's happening? So I can understand what's literally obviously happening in every moment. Those are called the circumstances. Then I do an extra thing that I don't do in a drama, which is I say to the universe, okay, universe, send me gifts of funny line readings and shtick I can do based on what's really happening in the scene. And then I'll try out some stuff quietly to myself to see what tickles me, you know? And then if I come up with something that tickles me, I don't like run to the bathroom and practice it full out in front of the mirror. No. I go, okay, that tickles me. I can't wait to do it full out in the room in front of the producers for the first time to see what happens. Because sitcom style has nothing to do with a concept called timing. That is a result-oriented way to approach sitcom, which is not how the actual sitcom actors will look at it. And the biggest sitcom teacher has never done a sitcom, ever. So that's just not how they're doing it. The sitcom actors have high stakes in their belly, which makes a lot of their spontaneous, genuine human behavior come out, and they're tickling themselves with all that genuine, spontaneous human behavior. If they go, oh, I like the timing of that line, that's fine, as long as you're reminding yourself, I've got to be behaving as if it's really happening while I'm doing this timing thing that I find funny. That was a long answer. Did I, somewhere in there, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you have a question? Did you have a question or are you frozen?
Well, more of a comment. I'm getting a little bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just saying I'm getting feedback. I missed a little bit of what you said. Okay, it stopped. It was a lot of feedback that was going on.
Are you hearing? I have a fan blowing on me. Are you hearing a fan? Okay, so somebody I think has their microphone turned on, and you need to mute it because we're hearing like a.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Who is it? Who has their microphone turned on? Okay, Crystal, now I'm going to listen to you. Can you please repeat that?
Okay. Okay, yeah, so just I couldn't hear the last bit of what you were saying because there was feedback, and it stopped now because I'm talking, but every time you talk, it comes up.
Well, are you doing a sitcom? That does sound like it's me. Hello. Let me turn off the fan, see if that helps.
Okay.
This has never happened. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, is it doing it? It's doing it, isn't it? Is it making the noise now, Crystal?
It's stopped. It stopped now. It's a little bit, but now
well, let's see what happens. I'm also pulling off this thing I use for. Okay, so Crystal, are you doing a sitcom today?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I said at the end, I don't recall now. What was the last thing you heard? And I'll say it again.
You were talking about time. I got lost in the timing. Like everything was result driven. You don't go for results. You were describing.
You can make choices and go for. Oh boy, is it happening again? Am I talking right now and you're hearing my voice all muddled, or can you understand me?
I can understand you. It's not as bad.
Okay.
I think it might be the mic.
Anyway, look, you can go for results in a sitcom. You can absolutely pre-plan line readings and shtick. You can, as long as you're behaving as if it's really happening.
Yes.
But she used a concept called timing, and I just kind of wanted to point out that I don't use that word. Instead, I always keep returning to I'm going to tickle myself with my genuine human behavior if this was really happening to me. And because timing is a very dangerous road to walk down, because timing is result-oriented, which leads to a thing called line readings. And if you're focused on a line reading to the detriment of behaving as if it's really happening, then you're not castable. Because even in a sitcom where you can pre-plan line readings, you've got to be behaving as if it's really happening. Am I still going?
Not as bad. It's a little bit, but not as bad.
This is
it's
weird.
Coming and going.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove you now. Does anybody else have any questions about anything I shared about affirmations? No. Okay, so you do. Okay, hello, Janet.
Hi, I do. Okay, so I wrote it down. Let's see. Before I took your workshops, I had studied with some other people, and they were all into objectives and steps and blah, blah, blah. And I find myself with working on my lines falling back into that. So I'm just wondering, what affirmation might you, how can I speak to that?
Give yourself permission to hate every teacher you trained with, and then you won't have a desire to use their techniques. Now, when I say that, I mean also give yourself permission to hate me.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you will use even loving things I say to you to beat yourself up later.
Got it.
Because you can absolutely we can turn anything into a baseball bat and beat ourselves over the head with it. You're not doing Jack's loving technique well enough. You know what I mean? So okay. I do think if you just do that, you'll stop doing it. And also when your vulture says, go back and do the thing you don't want to think about, you say, No, I'm in charge. I control my thoughts.
Okay.
And I'm going to refocus. Okay, so
Refocus.
somebody's trying to enter and the studio is full. Don't worry about it. You will get in before it's time to do your scene. Just keep watching, and eventually, I promise you, somebody who performs will leave the chat room and you'll be able to get in. Janet, did I answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, so what Janet brought up are some of the what I would consider to be result-oriented techniques that teachers use to teach you scene comprehension. Scene comprehension is so important, but I don't do any of that stuff they do because it's not healthy scene comprehension in my opinion. And if you want to learn how to do healthy scene comprehension so you won't fall into the trap of a result-oriented scene comprehension, which teachers of that use words like actions, objectives, beats. This is all my opinion. I'm not saying there are great teachers out there, I'm sure, that use those words. I think they are slightly dangerous to the artist. Anyway, you can just read my chapter in my book called Scene Comprehension, and then you'll see how to avoid the pitfall of going right to worrying about things like objectives, beats, and actions, which in my opinion are not healthy words. Okay, so I'm going to talk just a little bit more so I'm going to just talk a little bit more and then we're going to begin. I'm trying to find the order, and I have it that the first person going is Kay Mosley. I think that's Kathryn. No, Crystal, yes. So every day, I've got to turn that fan back on. It's hot. Okay, so Crystal, I'm starting to think that, okay, well, anyway, what is the secret to acting? The 9th take. Why? It's the only time actors give themselves permission to behave as if it's really happening. Every other take, they're just trying to show what the scene will look like in the finished product, which isn't even acting. It just makes you need to get a word perfect, keep it moving, and make it look like a nice, smooth, polished surface. You're not castable when you're doing that because you're not behaving as if it's really happening. So if you want to read all about this, it's in the chapter called The Secret to Acting. But how do I have faith that I'm doing the 9th take on set? Because I only have a 9th take. I approach the audition as if it's the 9th take on set. I approach my first take on set as if it's the 9th take. And here's how I do that. So when I'm about to go into an audition, I pretend I've already done it. And then now we're just going to do it one more time or a couple more times, right? So I pretend that I'm the director talking to me and he's just seen me do my audition. And he says this: "Oh my God, Jack, thank you so much for bringing in all those beautiful choices. They were perfect for the scene. And now I have them all on film perfectly and I'm going to use them. So since we're done and I'm never going to look at this next take you're about to do, well, I guess that means you don't have to do any of that brilliant stuff you brought in. Gosh, I guess just behave as if it's really happening now. Just want to surprise yourself. Take all the time you want. And you have permission to do it badly. I'm never going to look at this take. Action. I do my audition. Now, what could your vulture possibly say to you while you're acting about, oh, you messed up a line. Oh, this isn't how you thought it should go. Oh, they don't like you. What could your vulture possibly say if the director just said all that to you? You see, that's why it really completely short circuits your vulture, because you have permission to do it badly. Does anybody have any questions about the concept of the 9th take or how to do it and why it's so important? See, actors will go, well, I just got to get a few bad ones out. Well, people under normal circumstances, when we're actually going into offices to audition, they're seeing your first go. So you really want but by the way, my first take, I consider to be my best one. Why? It's my most spontaneous. And the camera has to capture spontaneous behavior. You can't fake spontaneity. So just behave as if you've already done it 8 times and now the director says, this one's for you. Whatever you want, I don't care. So it looks like nobody seems to have a question about that. So we're going to get started now. So Crystal, I'm going to bring you up. Hello.
Hi.
Are you doing Elise? I can't remember what scene you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. So Elise is a sitcom scene. Oh, did I tell you? Oh, okay. You know what, Crystal? This sound issue is coming from your computer, I believe.
I'm on my phone.
It did not, none of that happened when I was talking to other people. And I hear it now.
Let's see. Maybe I'll try to switch over to my laptop. Oh wait, it's gone.
Well, it's probably gone because I'm not talking. So I think that what we should do is maybe skip you and go to the next person and have you switch to something else. And the next person would be Dawn. How would you feel about that? Because I think you probably can't understand a word I'm saying.
I can hear you, but I'm totally down to switching devices.
Dawn, would you be okay? And if you would, just go like that. Are you okay going that now? Okay, so Chris, I think that's for the best. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let two people go ahead of you. So it's going to be Dawn and then Lynn and then you. So now you're third. Okay? Okay, so Dawn. Woo! Let's get that bad mic off. So, hi, Dawn. How are you?
Fine, how are you? Can you hear me okay without my headset on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What scene are you doing today?
I went with Syria. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. The one from the hospital. Sarah?
Yes, Sarah, yeah. Okay, and Dawn, are you able to get a little closer? If you scoot your chair forward, are you a little closer to your computer?
Yes. Better?
Yeah, and you don't have to lean forward. I just wanted you just a little closer to your computer, and now you're great.
You want me to move more in the middle, or am I good?
You're fine there.
Okay.
I just wanted you a little closer, but you're fine. I can see you.
Okay, cool.
I mean, if you'd like to, I'm missing, when you lean forward, I lose some of your face, so maybe you should move your camera. Okay, so to the people watching, this is from an hour-long drama, and Sarah is a doctor at a hospital, and she doesn't like how her ex-boyfriend is handling a patient, so she decides she's going to intervene.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Well, I'm seeing what you're seeing, and what you're seeing is that you're missing half your mouth.
Okay. Wait a minute. Sorry.
That's okay.
There we go.
Oh, perfection.
Okay.
Okay, so again, it's an hour-long drama. You have the first line, so I'm going to let you begin when you're ready, okay?
Okay. Why don't you turn that case over to me?
What?
Why don't you give me that case since you can't seem to handle it?
Who says I can't handle it?
Well, it certainly sounded that way.
Oh, so you're spying on me now.
It's hard to miss your obnoxious voice.
Some would call it sexy.
Some would.
Sorry, I thought you and me were just going to be two colleagues, remember, who happened to work together in the same hospital?
Look, this isn't about your overinflated ego of your sense of charm, okay? This is about a woman with a serious medical condition that deserves your respect.
That woman is a whack job. She thinks she's pregnant.
It's called a false pregnancy, and it's a real psychological disorder. She's not pretending to do anything. She honestly thinks she's about to give birth.
Okay, I'm going to stop. Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you what your experience of doing the scene was. And the reason why is because it's the actor's experience that matters. Because acting runs on empathy, the audience can only have the experience you have. And if you have an experience where you're vulture squawking a bunch of result-oriented bullshit while you're acting, then that makes behaving as if it's really happening very difficult. But if you have an experience where you're vulture silent, then it's easy to just behave as if this is really happening. And that's why I tell actors, you have to be totally selfish, only interested in your own experience, because any part of you that's worried about what they're thinking is a part of you that's not back here in your own selfish shit, having emotional, surprising experience, thereby giving the audience an emotional, surprising experience. So when I say, what was your experience of that? Another way to put it would be, was there anything your vulture was squawking, anything that you didn't care for that your vulture was saying?
I think I got it in my head a little bit with my vulture in terms of the fact that I stuttered in the beginning, and that kind of tripped me up.
So you said, I think I got in my head. Now, there's no such thing as being in your head, because obviously you're always in your head. I mean, your brain's in your head.
Yeah.
But when an actor says, I was in my head, what that simply means is, in that moment, their vulture was squawking. So then you continued on to tell me what your vulture was saying, which was that when you stuttered, your vulture said what?
In my head, I heard I should be doing this better, and I should just let it go and have more fun.
Well, no, that's your loving voice chimed in, and I love to hear that. But your vulture said, you should be doing this better. Obviously, you would just say to it, I release and destroy, I need to do it better.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not even controlling it. It's coming out how it was meant to, and I just want to be surprised. And I release and destroy my need to be a good actor, blah, blah, blah. But what I love is that in the moment your vulture squawked, you used your true loving voice to say, no, I can't remember what you said now. And that's how the affirmations work. When you first start them, you're going to have to say them while you're acting, because your vulture squawks while you're acting. And the good news is we can't read your thoughts. We have no idea what you're thinking. And it only takes a second to think, fuck it, or whatever you said. So I'm very happy to hear you did that. Now, people stutter in real life. So if you don't stutter ever, then you're not behaving as if it's really happening. So release and destroy your need to be perfect. And not only that, but embrace imperfection, because life is imperfect. Anything else your vulture said?
No, I've really been trying to learn how to let go and release. So this is like all in what my process of what I've been working on with myself.
Well, I was just curious if while you were acting, if there was any, here's the thing, your vulture isn't saying the truth. It's saying what it knows you'll currently listen to. So I'm curious if there's anything else your vulture said while you were acting, because it'll say it next time you act. And so it's good to discuss it and figure out what to say back to it so it won't say that. And you should say it right before you act next time. So next time you act, right before you act, you're going to want to say, I release and destroy my need not to stutter. I release and destroy my need to be perfect. All that stuff. So your vulture won't do that, because when your vulture squawks while you're acting, it makes it hard to behave as if it's really happening. Anything else your vulture said, or is that it? Just about how you should be doing it better?
Just basically that I should be more on top of it.
And what does the concept of needing to be more on top of it remind you of from your childhood?
I have perfectionist tendencies.
Was there, okay, so you have a need to be a thing called on top of it. And I think that stems from your childhood, because you can be on top of things in your real life, but in acting, no, not at all. We're not supposed to be a thing called on top of it. You gave yourself the gift of being an artist so that you'd have a safe space where you don't have to be on top of it, where you don't have to control what you're doing and get it right and be perfect. So give your inner child the gift of allowing her to play in the sandbox and make mud pies.
Okay.
And remind yourself, the people out there are not my childhood, and so I don't give a fuck about being on top of it for them. Anyway, I thought that was a lovely audition. And then it was really lovely. And then the moments when your vulture squawked, you couldn't behave as if it was really happening. And see, they don't know that's what's happening when they're watching your audition. They just go, well, I like her, but maybe not this role. So that's why we really got to get our vulture shut up so that you can shine bright. So I want to do an exercise of love, because it gets rid of the moment when the scene begins and you're under pressure to act. And that is, I'm just going to talk to you about your life so you can remember how you really think and communicate. And then in the middle of us talking, I'm going to say, start the scene. And what I want you to do is, without looking at the script, jump right into the scene, but bring right with you into the scene how you really think and communicate so that we can't tell the scene even began. Do you follow?
Yes.
In order to do this exercise, you have to let go of any way you thought you were going to do the scene, because we already saw that anyway. And instead just go, well, I'll just see what happens. It's the ninth take. So what did you have for breakfast today?
Well, I skipped breakfast. So my first meal of the day is lunch.
Where were the streets that you grew up on? Like, what were some of the streets around your neighborhood called?
I grew up in Avenue A in New Jersey, and then my parents moved me to Florida to get me out of the snow. So I went to high school and college in Florida.
When we're talking, I want you to have faith that I'm right in front of you in a hallway and not in an internet computer that you have to push your voice out to. Because it takes place in a hallway, so just have faith that we're in a hallway, and I can hear you very well.
Okay, great.
And this is all a selfish exercise just for you to remember how you really think and communicate. Because when I say start the scene, you're going to just say your first line, which is, why don't you blah, blah, blah. You're going to bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate, so we can't tell the scene began. What was the name of your elementary school?
Meadow Park Elementary.
And your favorite teacher? Did you have some good teachers you liked in middle school or elementary?
The two teachers that influenced my life the most, besides my mother, who's a retired teacher.
Just me and you in a hallway. Like, I hear you. I'm right in front of you. Don't do internet acting. It's just, you're just talking to me. So basically, you're thinking out loud. Almost every scene we do is a scene about somebody thinking out loud. So I'm asking you, did you have a hobby you loved?
Besides watching TV, and I like to needlepoint. And to go back to your other question, my biggest influence in terms of teachers, besides my mother, who's a retired special ed teacher.
How did you feel being in this teacher's class?
Well, it was very interesting growing up because I was the only student with a disability.
Did you have a teacher that you really hated?
Oh, I hated my geometry teacher, but that's not a very loving thing.
How did it feel having to be in that class?
I hated geometry and I hated mathematics because I see things backwards. And so it was awful.
Start the scene.
Why don't you turn that case over to me? Why don't you give the case to me? Because you don't seem to be able to handle it.
Who says I can't handle it?
Well, that's what it certainly sounded like.
Oh, okay. So you're spying on me now, huh?
It's hard to... It's your obnoxious voice. What can I say?
Some would call it sexy.
Some would.
Okay, so what I'm getting is that the way you're memorizing is that I need you to, when you're memorizing, to put all your focus on what the words mean, because I believe you may have memorized line readings because you're finding it hard to receive new line readings right now. And the goal is to focus on what the words mean so that you understand the idea of the line. And then when you behave as if it's really happening, you allow the line to come out differently every time you do the scene. However, you may have anxiety about remembering the line. So I want to show everyone this. This is what actors do when they forget a line. They go like this. I'm going to say two lines, pretend I forgot the second one. They go like this. I can't leave my wife. She needs me, and so do the kids. If instead you just stayed up and tried to remember the line, it would look like this. I can't leave my wife. She needs me, and so do the kids. Do you see how great that is? It looks like you're thinking.
Yeah.
You have to have those moments. You won't book work without those moments, but we get rid of those moments because we think in a moment of silence they can read our mind and know that we're a sham. But the moment you forget your line is the best moment of your audition, because what could be more real than a human standing from another human trying to think of what to say? Because every scene is a scene about a woman who doesn't know what she's going to say, but we turn every scene into a scene about a woman who knows everything she's going to say and wonder why we didn't book the job. And the reason why you can take all the time you want to remember the line is that when you're acting, time speeds up. So what feels like 5 seconds of dead air is like 1 second has gone by. Do you follow?
Yes.
I'm going to do it again. When you were younger, and we're going to jump into the scene, but bring right with you into the scene how you really think and communicate, and let go of any way you thought to do the scene. When you were younger, what was a school program that you cared about, that you liked? Was there any?
I was in theater, and that changed my life.
Did you know that a lot of schools are being forced to cut their theater programs because they don't get enough money from the government? Did
Yeah,
you know
I
that?
think that's horrendous.
Start the scene.
Why don't you turn that case over to me?
What?
Why don't you give me the case because you can't handle it?
Who says I can't handle it?
Well, it certainly sounded that way.
Ah, I see now. Hmm? You're spying on me, aren't you?
Well, what can I say? It's hard to hear. It's hard not to hear that obnoxious voice of yours.
Some would call it sexy.
Some would.
Okay. That woman, she's a fucking whack job. She's pretending to be pregnant.
Look, she's not pretending. It's a real psychological disorder, and she deserves to be treated with respect.
Fucking phenomenal, Dawn. Okay, so I had to skip a couple lines to get you to let go of your control. And then when I did, that was an absolutely beautiful moment you just had. And you had a lot of lovely moments in that. But you have a reality where you could fail. And so you're feeling a responsibility to control the scene at times so you don't fail. And in order to get rid of that, just read the last chapter of my book. It's the 5 concepts of a reality where there's no such thing as failure in your acting.
Okay.
And then you'll just be willing to just see what happens. It's the last chapter for a reason. It's that important. I have a reality where there's no such thing as failure in my acting, and you can too by simply understanding those 5 concepts. That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
I got to see everything about you in that last line. Because everything about us is pouring out of us all the time as long as you behave as if it's really happening. But if you're panicked about how to do the scene, we don't really get to see you. Instead, we're seeing your idea of your sort of dead gift of idea of how the scene should look. You see? That was great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so up next is Lynn. So I'm going to bring Lynn up now, and then we're going to go back to Crystal. So Lynn is right here. Okay, Lynn, I take it you're doing a sitcom because we were talking about sitcom. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm doing Deb.
Oh, Deb is not a sitcom. Okay, so Deb is a filmed half-hour comedy.
Okay, even better.
Do you have any questions?
I do have one question. Is there a way for me to pin your video so I don't see myself? It's very distracting.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say it again? You wanted to hide yourself or you want to hide me?
No, I want you to be there. I don't want to see myself.
Can you take the window, the browser window, slide it to the left or right so that you're hidden? Because the problem is I won't be able to see you if I hide you.
Take the browser window.
Yeah, you're looking at me in a browser that you opened up.
Right. So
you can move that browser around your...
I see what you're saying. Just reduce the size of it. Meh.
Well, did you get it?
Nah, it's all right. I'll ignore my stunning beauty.
No, Lynn, if you grab the top of a browser window, that's how you can move it anywhere on your desktop. You could slide it all the way off your desktop.
Yes, but then you also get smaller.
No. I'm not telling you to make the window big or smaller. I'm telling you to grab the top of the window right in the middle of it or wherever and move the entire window. That way you can leave the window big, but move yourself off of your computer screen, keeping me big.
I am having difficulty with it. It's fine, Jack. Let's play.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let's
play.
Yeah, okay. So to you people out there, this is a filmed half-hour comedy, and she is a sarcastic, ball-busting union stage manager listening to her headset when my character enters backstage. So you have the first line, No. I have the first line, so you let me know when you're ready to begin.
Oh God. Sorry. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, places, everyone.
Hey, whoa. What are you doing?
I was calling places.
That's not your job. This is my domain. You are not allowed to do my job in my domain.
Okay, I
I'm
was.
sure you work and do your job, whatever it is.
Well, actually, I booked the.
Nope, no, I don't want to know. And in fact, that's how sure I am that I've never come over and tried to do your job, because I don't even know what it is. And if I'd done it, I'd know.
Wow. Okay, you lost me in that web of wordplay, but I just didn't think that.
No, you didn't think. See, that's your domain. This is my domain. This is Mama's house. Right here, this is Big Mama's House, Part 2, starring Martin Lawrence.
What?
When I am in your space, I respect you. Hi, Stacy. How can I help? When I'm in my space, you respect me by leaving. Your space, helpful. My space, go away.
Look, I don't have time to waste.
Oh, so that's what this is about. Now I'm wasting your time. Well. Tables have turned. Funny how that works. Works.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, and listen, don't ever hesitate. If you ever want to go over all these things we've discussed today, I'm right here.
Good. Let's stop and let's talk about your experience of doing that. Did anything come up that you didn't care for? Anything your vulture was saying?
I was concerned about the audio when I did my clap. My vulture was saying that I didn't have a layer that I wanted to add, which was in that last moment of I wanted to have some flirtation with you or to be like checking you out, and I glossed over that. So my vulture, I guess, towards the ending was saying you're not doing good.
You're not doing the thing you planned.
Yeah, you're not.
Neither of these are really necessarily vulture squawks. They may just be actor thoughts. Actor thought is a thought that isn't a vulture squawk, but isn't aligned with the circumstances of you being in this moment, right? And then you just want to treat those thoughts like your brain is a room with two doors and the thought goes in one door and out the other, because we can't read your thoughts, and it won't hurt the scene to have an actor thought. You're never going to go insane and think this is really happening. Acting's fake. But what I will say is when it comes to your vulture, in a scene, a comedy, you can pre-plan some things. Like, I don't mind that you thought, it'd be funny if I had some flirtation at the end, but hold those ideas lightly. In other words, say, I want to enact this, but hey, universe, if you got something better for me, I'll go with that. Because I trust that what happens when I'm acting and my heart's racing and I'm superhuman and I'm plugged into my higher power, I trust that those things are better than what I could come up with because they're more spontaneous. But especially in a filmed half hour, in a sitcom, you can hold on to your ideas more firmly because in a sitcom, you can make more choices, muscle more moments. In a filmed half hour, for half the scene, you're not making any choices and instead you're just seeing what happens. So that's why it's not always a good idea in a filmed half hour to plan too much, because then you're going to have that happen. You're going to have your vulture go, this isn't what you planned.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you said was that, being aware that you clapped and it might affect the sound is not a vulture squawk. Is there anything that you think maybe your vulture was saying that made you feel pressure or anxiety?
Well, now in retrospect, it's saying you really weren't listening to him. You really weren't working with him.
I don't talk about what your vulture says after the audition, because who gives a fuck what she says after the audition? We just want our vulture to shut up while we're doing the scene. But I will say this, if she's saying it now, she might say it the next time you audition. She's not saying the truth. She's saying what she knows you'll listen to. And what I want to remind you is in real life, we don't always listen to people 100%. It's a sliding scale, dear. And so sometimes we're not listening to people at all. So release and destroy your need to listen. And instead, just have faith you're hearing me for the first time. Again, whoever's trying to enter the studio, you will be able to get in before your turn. I promise you. I apologize you can't get in right now, but you will be able to eventually. Hillary, if you're not going to be watching, it'd be better if you just, Hillary and Tom, if you guys aren't, I don't know if you're watching or not, but if you're not watching right now, then just leave the room. But I think you are watching. The reason why I brought it up, guys, is simply because your screens were black. I don't know StreamYard well enough to know why your screens were black. I thought they were black because you weren't watching. I see now that you both are. So ignore me. This is a day of trying to figure out StreamYard, and we're all dealing with technical stuff. And I love it because I'm just glad we have the internet. I'll tell you. Thank you, Al Gore. How I wish you were the president. Okay, so Lynn, anything else you want to share about your experience of that? Maybe anything that felt better based on this is the first time you're performing for me, right? I forget.
I worked with you once many years ago.
Okay, anything else you want to share about your experience?
I think it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a lovely audition. I really have very little to say to you. I thought it was a lovely audition. I am particularly loved your ability to approach the scene as a series of improvs, meaning you were really fucking behaving as if it's really happening and you understood the circumstance. And I felt that you spontaneously played in that improv. You know, you had, so it was a very lovely audition. I'll just say this. If you were going in on this, I would just remind you that I loved how you were pushing down your frustration or disgust or anger with her with a smile, because that's what it means to be sarcastic. There's like a jokey kind of thing. But nonetheless, when you push down a seed of anger or frustration, it grows stronger. You feel it more. And so the audience feels it more. But this bitch is coming in and doing your job.
Right.
And even if you think, you know, here's how I handle assholes like this. It's like when you're pushing down anger, shut the fuck up. You're gonna feel it more. And I felt like I was missing that. And so the scene, you know what I'm saying.
Yes,
what else?
It didn't have an
okay. So I never talk about things called arc because that makes the actor think it's their job to control that. Mm-hmm. But I instead focus on emotions. And yeah, often scenes have a build, but I don't want to focus on that because that makes us think we're responsible to do it. But if you just have faith that this is really happening and don't look for an answer to the scene, and that may be what happened. When a scene doesn't change much, often it's because the actor's looking for an answer to the scene, going, this feels good. If I keep doing this, I won't fuck up. But there is no answer to a scene. It's constantly changing, just the way life is. And so you should want to allow the scene to change. Because if you lay a quality over even one line, you can't get in touch with the moment-to-moment fleeting thoughts, feelings, and impulses that happen even in one line. Now, I'm not saying you were doing that, but I was just sharing that I wouldn't mind it if you had let her get under your skin a little more. Because she won't just shut the fuck up and go away. Because you don't know what's going to happen, and you told her, get the fuck out of here, and she hasn't yet. We're going to do it again. Good. Release and destroy your need to be an actress. Fuck that. You just take it from where you are, however you're feeling, however prepared you are, is a fine place to begin the scene. And now I'm going to release and destroy your need to be funny. You're just here to tickle yourself with your own genuine human behavior when you're the kind of person who controls things and is fucking great at it, and this little fucking amoeba shit child comes in and thinks she knows how to do your job that you fucking know everything about. Yeah. Fuck the scene because we already have it perfectly. The director says this, and then we're going to start. Thank you so much for bringing in all those beautiful choices. They were perfect, and I have them all on film perfectly, and I'm going to use them. So since we're done, and I'm never going to look at this next take, I guess you don't have to do any of that great stuff you brought in. I guess that means you could just behave as if it's really happening. Just want to surprise yourself. Oh, and Lynn, take all the time you want. And you have permission to do it badly. Fuck it. Here we go. Okay, places, everyone.
Hey, whoa, what are you doing?
Oh, I was just calling places.
No. That's my job, okay? You're not allowed to do my job. This is my domain. You're not allowed to do my job in my domain.
Okay, I was.
I don't come to where you work and do your job, whatever that is.
Well, I actually booked the theater.
No, I don't want to know. See, in
Okay,
fact,
good. When actors get a direction, sometimes they put it in their head. I gave you I reminded you that one of the circumstances is that you're pushing down anger. That's a circumstance. Put it in your belly. Trust your gut to do with it what it will. If you put a circumstance in your head, you're going to feel a responsibility to show everyone you're taking my note.
Uh-huh.
And then out the window goes all the deliciousness of behaving as if it's really happening, because you're muscling, making too many choices for a filmed half hour. And I'm not seeing the wonderful, sarcastic, ball busting union stage manager, because you're putting my note as more important than your delicious, just seeing what happens, behaving as if it's really happening. You know what I mean?
So just to clarify, I was being too angry at the top as opposed to letting it build.
To clarify, the actor must want to feel, and I love that you wanted to feel anger, because she immediately doesn't dig this woman, right? But you've got to remember, the character doesn't. No one wants to start yelling at somebody, especially not a union stage manager who knows that's not how things go. You don't yell at people.
Right.
But
Okay.
when you push down anger, you feel it more. So you may find that you start yelling. That's fine, but you can't be yanking the anger up and showing us out of a responsibility to the director. Put it in your belly. Use it as a delicious extra circumstance.
Okay.
So start the scene calling people in different, just add some ad libs at the beginning, because you're on your thing, whatever, you're calling cues.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, so we're going to get to...
Okay, places, everyone.
Hey, whoa, what are you doing?
Well, I was just calling places.
No, that's my job. It's my domain. You're not allowed to do my job in my domain.
Okay, I was just...
No, I come to where you work and do your job. Now, do I? Whatever it is.
Oh, I actually booked the...
No, I don't want to know. In fact, that's how sure I've never come over and tried to do your job, because I don't know what it is. And if I'd done it, I'd know.
Wow, you just lost me in that web of wordplay. Okay, I just didn't think that...
No, you didn't think. That's your domain. This is Mama's house. This right here is Big Mama's House, Part 2, starring Martin Lawrence.
What?
When I'm in your space, I respect you. Stacy, how can I be helpful? When I'm in my space, you respect me by leaving. Your space, helpful. My space, go away.
Good. What's your experience of that?
That's fun. That was actually I had more fun doing that this last take than the first.
Yeah, I thought it was a lovely audition. I also loved your first take. And what I would just say is, I'm not psychic, but what I'm picking up is that I do feel like you've got this little bit of get it rightness. And how is Jack and I going to figure out how I can get this right the best? This is subtle stuff. But what it is it's keeping you from even more behaving as if it's really fucking happening, which is uncomfortable to watch. And in a drama, the audience wants to feel very uncomfortable. But in a filmed half-hour comedy, you want moments where the audience feels a little uncomfortable, like they're watching something they're not invited to. But your desire to get it right makes them feel incredibly invited to this moment. This is very subtle stuff I'm talking about. Because, and I guess I would just say, I think that time you thought you could hide from me. Okay, so Jack doesn't want me to get as angry, so I'll just be nicer. But you're still doing a thing called being nicer. Instead of just saying, no, it's an improv about some bitch coming in and doing my job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want to feel anger, but I know that the character doesn't, so I'm going to push down the anger, and it's going to just fucking stop. No, that's not what you're going to do. You're not going to do my job in my domain. And then she's going to say things you didn't expect her to say. which is going to cause you to say things you didn't expect to say,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so you could go further down the road of remembering that all the fun of acting happens when we have faith that we don't know what they're going to say and we don't know what we're going to say. Because if your hands are over here just even a little bit, trying to make sure that you coerce the scene into something that's right, then your hands aren't here, open in front of you, ready to receive gifts of images, thoughts, and concepts aligned with actually fucking being in this circumstance, which is great acting, being surprised by a thought or a feeling in front of a rolling camera.
Mhm. Yeah.
You from theater?
Yes.
Yeah, see, theater actors have a great, because theater acting is harder, they have a great ability to control their instrument and the scene. But in film acting, I want you to really say, no, I don't want to control the scene. Because if I control it, it can only ever be about a 5 out of a 10. But if I let something bigger than me control it, it could be a fucking 10 out of a 10. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I thought you were doing that to a point. I want you to go further down that road of releasing your need to control a scene so that you can watch it back going, I don't remember doing that. I don't remember making that face or saying that line like that or doing that or adding that line at the end. That's called ninth taking the fuck out of it. Or in other words, really approaching it like an improv, not a scene. Great work. Really fun.
Thank
Yes, loved it. No, that's not what I meant to do. This is now, we're back to Crystal. And you are the third person. So right after Crystal's going to be Wendy, and then we're taking a short break. So you're doing the scene, I forget what scene.
Elise.
Okay, so I wanted to let you know that even though Elise is saying the words, oh yeah, I don't think so, that's not what she's typing furiously into her BlackBerry. She's probably just typing, fuck you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure you knew that. So this is a sitcom scene, and Elise is kind of like the friend of the lead on the show, and they're at work, and she's got this boyfriend. Well, you'll see. So I have the first line, so you let me know when you're ready to begin, and we'll do this sitcom.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So Sarah Carlin's on her way over, and they say she's pretty shook up.
Yeah, I think so. We had plans. You can't just cancel on me like that.
Elise, you realize I can hear you?
I have to get this out because George will only fight now via email because he's uncomfortable with personal confrontation.
You did not just say that.
He thinks we choose our words more carefully this way.
Again, you did not just say that. This is the man you want to marry?
I don't know if I want to marry him. I just want him to marry me.
Oh, come on. I just think you can do better than him. Oh, hey, whatever happened to Larry?
You mean Larry, who took me to a George Michael concert and danced with his hands above his head?
Well, there's got to be someone else.
Yeah, well, when you find him, tell me and my vagina because we're both looking. Anyway, enough about me. When are you and Josh going to hook up again?
We're not hooking up. That was 6 years ago.
Please. I don't care how long it's been. He's seen you naked. You can't take that back. You're lecturing him about amicus brief, and he's thinking about the time you sucked his toes for an hour.
Ew, who would do that? And let's stop there. Good. What's your experience of that? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was saying?
I guess, I don't know. I've been reading your book. So I've been telling myself, all for the last 2 days, I release and destroy while I was working on it. So many different things. So actually, while I was doing it, I really didn't think about anything. I was just trying to listen to you.
Okay, so two things. The goal, hold on, 2 things. Don't forget what you just said, but I just want to interrupt you because I'm very particular about how actors verbalize their experience because your thoughts are your reality. And with their thoughts, actors create a reality that's very difficult and full of ways to fail. So you said, I wasn't really thinking anything, to which I would say, well, the goal is actually to want to be surprised by thoughts and images that can create feelings while you act. I think what you meant is your vulture wasn't squawking.
Yeah.
But then you said, I was just trying to listen, and I would recommend that you let go of whatever teacher told you to do a thing called focusing on listening. Because in real life, we don't always listen at 100%. you know?
Yeah.
Now, if you were to say, I just wanted to focus on behaving as if it's really happening, I would say, fan-fucking-tastic. That's the definition of acting. So what a great thing to put as the #1 goal. But teachers want us to break down the concept of behave as if it's really happening into 50 subcategories. Really listen, really see, really connect. That's no. That just makes acting hard, and it's to keep you in their class. So then after you said, I just wanted to listen, you went on and I interrupted you. So what were you saying after that? I asked you if there was anything your vulture was saying.
No, my vulture, I've trained her. Like, we're not having it.
Good. I'm really happy to hear that. And I didn't feel like you were having anxiety. Anything else you want to share about your anxiety is the feeling caused by our vulture squawking. So anything else you want to share about your experience of doing the scene? Anything you didn't care for?
Actually, no, because for me,
Okay.
yeah.
Anything feel better than usual based on what you're playing with for the first time here today?
Well, it's really good to do it. Well, you're the first person that I've done it with, so I haven't done it with anybody. So all of this is new for me. So I don't have anything to base it on.
Okay, good. Then let's talk about it. So I liked that you were behaving as if it's really happening, but did you feel you were tickling yourself?
I did feel it when I started talking about the toes.
I know, because that's when it became a sitcom audition.
Okay.
Not until there. And the thing is, that was the last third. But it was lovely, but you just weren't tickling yourself. So let me explain this. There's no such thing as comedy acting. All acting is just behaving as if it's really happening. But in a comedy, while you don't want to try to make them laugh, because that's the worst way to go about it, you should be involved in tickling yourself. And people say, well, what am I tickling myself with? And the answer is simple. Humans are weird. So our behavior is weird. So even if I was crying over the death of a loved one and I was like this, isn't that weird? So in a comedy, you're just tickling yourself with your own genuine, spontaneous human behavior. So what makes sitcom style? Lots of spontaneous human behavior. And to do that, you put high stakes in your belly, not your head, or you're just going to do a bigger, louder scene. High stakes in your belly makes more of your behavior come out of you, and then you're tickling yourself with all this genuine, spontaneous human behavior. So for instance, in this scene, if you're frustrated that your boyfriend is texting you, you're not kind of frustrated. You're really fucking frustrated that he's texting you again. If you're angry that he won't just talk to you, but he has to text, you're really angry. But put that in your belly, not your head. If you put that you're really angry in your head, you're just going to show me a bigger, louder scene. And it's not about bigger, louder. It's about higher stakes in your belly, makes more of your behavior come out of you. So we got all that delicious, ooh, I don't think it's kind of sexy, the idea of her and Josh hooking up. I think it's really sexy, you know? And so we started to see a sitcom audition. Okay? Yeah. So we've already seen you do the scene like that. So this time you can say, well, now I'll just see how it comes out when I do an improv about in the middle of work, he's fucking texting me at work. Fuck no, you know? And just see how it comes out. So I want to do the exercise that gets rid of the moment where the scene begins. And I'm just going to talk to you about your life so you can remember how you really think and communicate. So you can bring that right into the scene when I begin the scene. So we won't even be able to tell the scene began. Okay?
Okay.
When you were younger, what were your least favorite foods?
Oh God, my grandmother tried to give me beets once. It was so nasty.
How did that make you feel?
I thought she hated me when she gave it to me. I'm like, what?
Why?
Because it's red, and I thought red things are supposed to taste like, you know, like good things like strawberries or Starburst or Skittles.
What was the name of the schools you went to? And again, this is not me gearing you up to the scene, and it's not me giving you substitution. It's for you to remember how you really think and communicate. So you can bring it right into the scene. But I love what you're doing. So bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate. What was the names of the schools you went to?
I went to Franklin Elementary, Lincoln Junior High, Thornridge High School.
Was there a class you hated?
I hated probably history because the teacher was really weird. He was like a pro-America crazy man that talked about things that were just important.
Was there any other teacher you hated? Any other cruel teacher? Or,
Oh, there was this one lady. I forgot her name, but she suspended me once.
why was she such a bitch?
Because I don't know, she was just so stiff about
We're
everything.
starting the scene. So Sarah Cardin's on the way over. They say she's pretty shook up.
Yeah? Well, I don't think so. We had plans. You can't just cancel on me like that.
At least you realize I can hear you.
I have to get this out because George will only fight now via email because he's uncomfortable with personal confrontation.
You did not just say that.
You can see we'll choose our words more carefully this way.
Again, you did not just say that. This is the man you want to marry?
I don't know if I want to marry him. I just want him to marry me.
Well, no, there's got to be somebody better. What about that guy, Larry?
Larry, who took me on a date to the George Michael concert where he danced with his hands above his head.
Okay, good. So now we're seeing a sitcom scene, but I do feel that you're really holding on to a way that you either memorized it or rehearsed it.
Oh, no, I can do it differently. I was just going off of what we were doing.
Okay, then I'm wrong because I'm not psychic. It's just that it's looking very similar to what happened the first time. And the goal is that our goal as actors is all I want to do is be surprised. So I'm not saying to you, hey, I want you to make this scene look different. I'm saying behave as if it's really fucking happening and just want to be surprised. And if you behave as if it's really happening, the scene will come out different every time. It won't be wildly different because I'm not changing the circumstances, but you do. And I want to point out that it's not that you want him to marry you. It's that you want him to want to marry you.
Okay. Oh, am I saying that wrong? Oh.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. That's not why I want to I want to do it again. And I want you to really just, when we start the scene, to let go of any way you ever thought to do it and just have faith, bring the camera up so we can see it. And just have faith that you're reading a text you didn't expect to get, that it's forcing you to say, fuck off, I'm at work, but it's so hard to do it. And then and then I'm going to ask you things you didn't expect me to ask, which are going to make you say things you didn't expect to say. And by the way, Larry wasn't kind of weird. He was really weird.
Mm.
Okay. So what to you, who was a kid at school, and don't say their name, but that was really weird. It's just for you to remember how you really think, communicate.
Okay. Yeah.
Who was it?
This guy, he used to eat his fingers.
And you can act this scene from your 8-year-old self. Here we go. So Sarah Cardin's on the way over, and they say she's pretty shook up.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't think so. We have plans. You can't just cancel on me like that.
Elise, you realize I can hear you.
I have to get this out because George will only fight via email now because he's uncomfortable with personal.
Okay, so again, I think the issue is that it's feeling a bit like you know what I'm going to say and you know what you're going to say. And all the fun of acting comes by having faith that you don't know what I'm going to say and you don't know what you're going to say. So when I say, Elise, you realize I can hear you, it's an improv about being taken out of the text you're doing and explain what you're doing to me. And you don't know what you're going to say. You know?
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, if you don't have faith that you don't know what I'm going to say and you don't know what you're going to say, it makes behaving as if this is really happening more difficult.
Okay.
Do you have a question about what I'm saying?
No. I'm taking it in.
Do you have a phone?
Yeah.
Are you like texting on a phone? Well, bring it up, because if you do this, we lose your eyes. If you do this, I can see your eyes. Okay? So anyway, release and destroy need to be funny, but you're here to tickle yourself with your genuine human behavior when you are fucking frustrated as hell at this annoying creeper who will not fucking just talk to you when you get home, but needs to text all day. And there's no right way to do it, and fuck it. But you were telling me about this kid. He did what? He ate his fingers?
Yeah, he was eating his fingers. His name was Eddie, and he was nice, but he just used to eat his fingers all the time. But he was so smart.
But he ate them.
Yeah, he used to eat his.
How did it make you feel when he would eat his fingers?
It would calm him down, and then I felt weird because he would look at me when he saw me, or the other kids look at him.
And you don't expect to get a text from me. Here we go. So Sarah Carter's on her way over. They say she's really shook up. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, well, I don't fucking think
So what is it? You can't cancel on me like that. Like, who cancels?
At least you realize we can all hear you right now.
Look, I have to get this out because George will only fight now via email because he's uncomfortable with personal confrontation.
You did not just say that.
He thinks we choose our words more carefully this way.
Again, you did not just say that. This is the man you want to marry?
I don't know if I want to marry him.
Okay.
I just want him.
Let me ask you something, dear. Was that easier or harder than the other takes?
Harder.
Yeah, and can I tell you something? It wasn't harder because I think you're going to agree when I say this. Would you agree that you didn't mean harder, but you meant more uncomfortable?
Maybe it's more. Okay, yeah, probably more.
Because what we just saw was you let go of your control. And so I think later when you think about it, you're going to go, no, it wasn't harder. Actually, it was easy because it happened to me. I didn't make it happen. But it was fucking uncomfortable, and I don't like that. To which I would say, get used to it because that was a fucking great audition.
My vulture started talking then. My vulture was like, you're not getting
I know because it forced you to let go of your control of the scene, which made you forget the line. Thank God. Because now I got to see a scene about a woman who doesn't know everything she's going to say.
Mm.
But you didn't like that because of how uncomfortable it would make you. To which I would say, get okay with the uncomfortableness because you need to stutter and stumble and be like, what? Oh, he's doing this to me all the time and I don't like it. As opposed to, he does this thing all the time and I don't like it because I have these lines memorized. Do you see the difference?
Yes. Yes.
So now you're behaving as if it's really happening, which makes you castable. Anything past that is gravy.
Yes.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, so what do I want to say about that to the people watching? Yeah, every line came out in a new way, but we saw how she was going, oh God, where's the line? Well, you know what? That's life. We don't know what we're going to say. And if you're just like, no, I just want to be comfortable and be ready with my next line, that's not life. We don't do it in real life, so you shouldn't allow it in your auditions. Acting is super fucking uncomfortable, but we've got to get rid of our anxiety. And if her vulture did squawk while she was acting, we can't read her mind. The important thing is she was involved in looking for the words to explain her frustration with her boyfriend. That's why I tell myself before an audition, you know what? I hope I forget the lines because then I'll be aligned with the character and I'll be forced to come up with them as I'm saying them, just like real life. So this is now Wendy.
Oh.
And after Wendy, we're going to take a 3 to 4 minute break. So, hi, Wendy.
Hello.
What scene are you doing?
I'm
what scene
doing the one I sent you from Blackish, Marla.
Can you say the name again? Because I may have to look this one up.
It's the email I sent you yesterday.
Here, do me a favor. What is the name of the file? Is the name the character name?
It's Blackish and it's Marla. But you never sent me this script. This is one I sent you.
Okay, so I know. What's the name of the Marla?
Yeah, Marla. It's from Blackish.
And is it spelled Marla?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not. I didn't download it for some reason. So you sent it to me yesterday?
Yeah. So if you Google Wendy, if you put Wendy's name, it will come up.
Okay, I found it. Yeah, I remember this. And the files were called numbers. Now I remember. I just forgot to open it. I got to find these. Dang it. Where are they?
Do you want to do me after the break?
I'm going to pull these off my email now, and then we're going to have them, and I'm going to be ready to go. So just give me a second.
Sure.
Here they are. Okay. Okay. I have it now, so can you tell us in a nutshell what's happening in this scene?
I'm interviewing you. You're playing two people, Dre and Rainbow. I'm from the dog rescue place, and I'm interviewing you to see if you're suitable to have a dog.
And this is a filmed half-hour comedy, am I correct?
Yes, it's blackish.
Okay.
Which then
So
became
it says we're in the Johnson home. Dre and Bo are seated with Marla filling out paperwork. You have the first line, so begin whenever you're ready.
So you're both aware that someone needs to be at home with the dog at all times?
Wow, you hear that, Bo? If you want this dog, you can go back to work. I am perfectly okay with that. Good, and good.
Good. And your highest level of education is?
PhD, I'm a doctor.
And you, Mr. Johnson, what's your highest level of education?
College.
Huh. Just college. Okay.
What do you mean, just college?
It's just part of the process, Mr. Johnson. We're just trying to ensure that the animal is placed in a suitable home.
A suitable home. We have a yard and water hose, which is more than half my cousin Inglewood have. Next time you're going to tell me this thing needs its own driver.
No, all we require is a well-balanced diet, shelter, and standard health insurance.
Health insurance for a dog? Well, that makes sense. I've seen patients come into the hospital with no insurance. Those patients are people, and people are not dogs.
You're right. Dogs are a far more sensitive breed.
Okay, good. Let's talk about your experience of doing that. Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was saying?
No, I really enjoyed it. There was only one thing that my mind was saying is I wasn't sure whether to look at the little green dot or you.
Well, then, I always recommend to actors to get those questions out before the audition, because the casting person loves being a partner in your audition. They're happy to answer those questions. But if you don't ask them, that will let your vulture, while you're acting, go, oh, you should have asked. Now you don't know. You see?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because so always make the casting person your partner in your audition. If you have any questions about the circumstances or whether you can sit or stand or sit and then stand, ask. So anyway, were you tickling yourself with your own genuine human behavior?
Yeah.
And so here's my note for you.
Okay.
If you look at the script and say, this is really happening to me, so what's happening? That would mean I'm here every day. I go to people's homes and I make sure, because I love dogs, and I just make sure that they're suitable, right?
Yeah, but she's a lot more territorial than
I don't
that.
know how to put this.
She doesn't.
I'm going to have to talk to you about this scene as if you're auditioning for it.
Okay.
So maybe I'm going to start getting a little, maybe what we could be considered result oriented.
Okay.
But I would remind you that while you might want to feel judgmental, the actress might want to feel judgmental, might want to feel angry. You got to remember the character doesn't, or she'd be insane. She can't go into people's houses and get mad at people, or she'd be insane, because I felt like a bit that you went, gosh, it's so result oriented to talk this way. I think you went for kind of the most obvious thing, which made it feel like you weren't behaving as if it's really happening.
Okay.
Because you were so willing to be the bitch that we know she is. We know that. Don't worry. That will come out in her behavior and the things she says. That will come out in the things she does, her actions. But you can't tickle yourself with your behavior when you're judgmental if you're showing your judgmentalness, because in real life, we don't do that.
Okay.
In real life, we don't walk into a house and throw up our disgust for people. And you can't tickle yourself with your genuine human behavior if you're not pushing down your disgust. And remember, she doesn't expect to be so disgusted. Nobody knows how things are going to work out.
All right. Okay.
So do you follow those notes?
Yeah. Shall I do it again? Not be so
Yeah,
disgusting.
we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. Well, there's
Okay.
no right way to do the scene. I've only talked about circumstances.
All right.
One time you do the scene, you might be surprised by one thing, another thing. But basically, Marla is filling out paperwork.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to talk for a moment, and then I'll say some affirmations. But what have you ever had a job where you had to just kind of fill out paperwork? This is just for you to remember how you really think and communicate.
No.
Did you ever have a job where you had to deal with the public? At a cash register, or what was that? Tell me about it.
I used to be a bartender in New York. And
what was the early crowd like? The ones that were there to, at around 6 and 7?
they were good, but they wanted to talk. And then once you started to get busy, you could feel that, they still wanted that kind of attention. And you just, when you say, I can't talk to you, you think, oh, there went my tip. I'm not going to get a big tip now.
So just take it from where you are. We already saw the scene. So now the director said, oh, gosh, this time, who cares? I already have it perfect. So just see what happens. Take all the time you want. You have permission to do it badly. Fuck it. You're not even an actress. So here we go. You're just here to be you and enjoy doing an improv about filling out paperwork for what's going to hopefully be a great parent to this beautiful dog. So here we go.
So you're both aware that someone's required to be at home at all times.
Ooh, you hear that? You're going to have to quit your job. I am perfectly okay with that.
Good. And your highest level of education?
Oh, PhD. I'm a doctor.
And you, Mr. Johnson, what's your highest level of education?
College.
Just college. Okay.
What do you mean, just college?
It's just part of the process, Mr. Johnson. We're just trying to ensure that the animal is placed in a suitable home.
Suitable home? We have a yard and a hose, okay? You're going to tell me this thing needs its own driver?
No, all we require is a well-balanced diet, shelter, and standard health insurance.
Insurance for a dog? Well, that makes sense. Insurance, it's a night. Those are people, okay? People aren't dogs.
You're right.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. Now, what we're seeing again, by the way, so much better, don't you agree? Easier to tickle yourself when you're involved in that improv.
Yeah.
That improv has to do with real life. The first thing you were doing was a bit too much, trying to show what the scene will look like in the finished product. But okay, say what you were going to say.
I get a bit confused with American sitcoms because
this isn't a sitcom. This is a filmed half-hour comedy.
Oh, well, it says on Wikipedia it's a sitcom because I wouldn't know.
Okay, well, we can play it like it's a sitcom.
No. Let's go with half-an-hour comedy because that's what I usually get cast in.
Okay, I want to finish my note on that.
Okay.
You started out so great, Wendy, and then you forgot that when you're behaving as if it's really happening, one of the most important things is that means you don't know what I'm going to say, which will allow you to receive what I say as if it was for the first time, which will allow you to have a moment to want to have a reaction to it. You don't have to have a reaction. You could just stare at me. That's a reaction too. But, you want your tentacles out to receive gifts of thoughts and feelings based on what you're hearing me say for the first time, which then causes a need for you to talk. And then you're going to be thinking out loud, because isn't that what every scene is about? Somebody kind of thinking out loud. But halfway through the scene, it felt like you knew what I was going to say and you knew what you were going to say. And so nothing could happen. But I loved the beginning.
Good. I'm glad I got that bit.
Well, when actors stop behaving as if it's really happening, it means you put something as more important.
Yeah.
So on the second page, when I said, what do you mean just college? In that moment, you put something as more important than behaving as if it's really happening, which would probably be something your vulture was telling you around the concept of getting it right, putting pressure on you to show what the scene would look like.
Yeah.
So let's do it again. And instead just go, fuck it. There's no right way to do it. And I'm going to have faith. I don't know what he's going to say, but I sure hope what he's going to say is that they both have, be like at least doctorate degrees and are millionaires who are going to give the dogs swimming pools. That's what you're hoping. Here we go. Just start. Take it from where you are.
So you're both aware that someone needs to be at home with the dog at all times.
Ooh, you better quit your job. No, I'm perfectly aware with that. Good with
Good.
it.
And your highest level of education?
Oh, well, I'm PhD. I'm a doctor.
Oh. And you, Mr. Johnson, what's your highest level of education?
College.
College. Just college. Okay.
Whoa, what do you mean just college?
It's just part of the process, Mr. Johnson. We're just trying to ensure that the animal's placed in a suitable home.
What do you mean so? Okay. Hooray. God, that was beautiful.
I'm
What
with you, Jack.
beautiful audition.
I'm
Now,
with you. Thank you.
I bet you now the scene is easier to do, isn't it?
Oh, easy.
Well,
Easy
it's
peasy.
because your vulture was saying things that may not have made you feel fear and anxiety, but made you feel pressure to show what the scene will look like correctly. And
Yeah, and
anything that makes you feel pressure is the enemy of behaving as if the scene is really happening.
yeah.
But here's what I love to the people out there watching that. Did you see what Wendy allowed to happen in that moment when you didn't expect me to be like, what do you mean college? And you were like, oh, I got caught. And then you went, this scratching your ear thing is what books work. And I know that sounds crazy, but the honest moment is the brilliant moment. And I know you weren't even aware you did it. And that's the goal. You can't plan spontaneity. It was such an electric moment because everything that was happening on camera was completely unplanned. You had no control and you weren't, well, you know, sir, it was an improv about trying to figure out a way to get this guy to like understand what was happening. Do you understand? When you watch it back, you're going to be like, I don't remember doing that or saying it that way. That's the goal. Even in a comedy where you can plan things, you want that spontaneity.
Thank you. And I took your note from last time, which is I learned the lines, then I learned the accent, and then I didn't learn how to do it. So I didn't get stuck in a particular way this way. So if you gave me a direction, I could respond to it. So I'm really pleased that I did that.
Wonderful. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the first time you do a scene, even though you've memorized the words with no intonation, no line reading, want to receive gifts of marvelous line readings in the performance.
Mm-hmm.
The words will be colored by something bigger than you if you behave as if it's really happening. And part of that is remembering you don't know what I'm going to say and you don't know what you're going to say. And wonderful job. That was a phenomenal audition.
Thank you, Jack. So lovely to see you. Thank you.
You too. So we're going to take a 3-minute break and then I'll be right back. So see you guys in 3 minutes. I'm eating a sandwich. Does anybody have, Hillary, sandwiches are good and then I'm hungry and I need it. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've shared so far before we get to the next scene, which is, who is next? It's going to be Janet. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've shared so far? No? Okay. Hi. How are you doing? What scene are you doing?
I'm doing Beth.
All right. Uh-huh. Beth is a sitcom scene, and Beth is being taught how to drive by, I think, like a friend. And it's a sitcom audition. And because you are the first line, you can just begin whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this. Dave was teaching me to drive, but he was worried that with me in jail and him dead, well, there'd be nobody to take care of Jack.
Well, look, Beth, I love Dave, and he's just not the most patient guy. It just takes time.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, teaching a woman to drive, it can't be your favorite way to spend a Saturday.
Well, it's got nothing to do with being a woman. I mean, that's a stereotype. They're women race car drivers. What happened to the rearview mirror?
He's in the glove compartment. It was too distracting.
Well, okay, Beth, but you have to be able to see what's going on behind you.
I know. I don't mind the side mirrors, but in this one, well, I can see people's faces, and I wonder, where's he going? Why is he laughing? What's he like? What's he listening to on the radio that I'm not listening to? Maybe I can find it. And that's when I hit that man on the bicycle.
Okay, good. Let's stop there. Good. So what was your experience today? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was squawking about?
Yeah, it's just, you're too tense. Get it right. Yeah.
The good news is it usually just comes in the form of I release and destroy my need for anything you're saying. So I release and destroy my need to not be tense.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if she's driving for the first time, she's tense. Yeah. So the universe sent you the gift of completely aligning you with the character, and you went, no, I don't want that. I release and destroy my need to, was it get it right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Get it right? There's no right way to do a scene. Did you know that there are correct circumstances, but those are always obvious? But a scene is supposed to come out of you differently every time. Different on every actor who does it. That's why they do all those takes. They're not doing all those takes to try to get it down on film this one way over and over again perfectly. You know? You don't create your performance in a movie or TV show. The editor does. Your job is to just play spontaneously in front of the camera and give the editor all those magical, lucky accidents. Even in a sitcom where you can pre-plan line readings, you still want all of that spontaneity. The thoughts could be different, therefore the feelings could be different, even when you're pre-planning your line reading. So anything else your vulture said? Oh, and by the way, the last chapter is how to have a reality where there's no such thing as failure, so that you cannot give a shit about getting it right, because there is no such thing as failure in your acting. What else was your vulture saying? Anything else?
Oh, don't mess up your lines.
I release and destroy my need to not mess up my lines. I'm allowed to paraphrase. Because the thing is, when your vulture's going, don't mess up your lines while you're acting, it puts pressure on your brain, and then your brain can't function like the supercomputer it is when your heart's racing. So, and you're allowed to paraphrase. And if you forget a line, you're allowed to just think and then start saying your line. right? And then it'll look like the character doesn't know what she's going to say, which is every scene you're ever going to do. Right? Anything else? So all of these things, so your vulture, the half of you that wants you to fail, wants you to listen to her because that makes behaving as if it's really happening impossible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that's why we just want to get her to shut up, and you've got to be practicing it all day whenever your vulture squawks, so that, you know, when she does squawk in the audition, you can just be like, nope, fuck it. So anyway, to me, yeah, it was an issue of just, it just didn't feel like you were behaving as if it was really happening, which is actually easier than what you were doing.
Yeah.
You know? So, but you just put your focus on other things. You made other things more important than behaving as if it's really happening. Now, in order to behave as if it's really happening, you've got to do your scene comprehension so you can understand what's obviously happening, you know? And so if I look at the script and say, this is really happening to me, and it's a sitcom, I would say, okay, it says, thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so I'm thanking somebody for, and if I'm thanking them, that means I'm happy I get to do it or excited. So I'm not kind of happy, I'm really excited, really thankful. And I'm just tickling myself with my, see, all the other actresses are in the hallway pre-planning how they're going to say the line. Whereas I go, oh, I get what this improv is. I've thanked people before. I've been excited to do something before. I can't wait to go in there and do an improv about really being really excited to do this and so grateful that I get to do it because of this person's help. I can't wait to go in there and do an improv about that. And I don't care what it looks like. I'll discover one of the many ways it could look in front of them. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
Then he's going to say, it's not about being a woman or a man. It takes time. And then you say, yeah, but I know teaching a woman. So in other words, she's saying, I know teaching a woman can't be your favorite way. So in other words, I know you don't like doing this.
Right.
Now, you don't have to put it into other words, but it's an improv about how do you know, being really sorry, feeling really guilty, or maybe still being, I mean, who knows how it's an improv about that. Because that's what I was missing, was that it's a series of improvs, and I'm going to say things you don't expect, and you're going to, so then I say, what happened to the rearview mirror? So that's an improv about realizing, oh yeah, I took it down. That's all. But it's still, I'm in a car and I'm going to fucking drive today. Okay? So let's talk about your life, and then we'll jump into the scene. And I want you to know, you have permission to fucking hate me. Fuck the audience. You have permission to do it badly. Auditioning for a sitcom is like throwing spaghetti against a wall. You're just going, I don't know, we'll try this, you know? We'll just see what happens. And you can act this from your 8-year-old self. When you were eight years old, what were some of your favorite hobbies or things you would do to have fun when you were young?
I liked to bike ride.
Where would you bike ride?
I biked all over the place. All over. I lived in a small town. I biked all the country roads.
How did it feel bike riding?
Oh, it was so freeing. It was so freeing. It was wonderful.
Well, fuck it. Here we go.
Thank you so much for doing this. Dave was teaching me to drive, but he was worried that with me in jail and with him dead, that there'd be nobody to take care of Jack.
Oh, well, you know, I love Dave. He's just not the most patient guy, and it just takes time.
Yeah, but I know teaching a woman to drive can't be your favorite way to spend a Saturday.
Oh, no, it's not about being a woman or man. That's a stereotype. There's women race car drivers. So where's the rearview mirror?
It's in the glove compartment. It was too distracting.
Okay, so much better. Easier too, huh?
Yeah.
A lot easier. Why is it easier? Because your vulture isn't squawking anymore, is she? Okay. I just want to go further down the road of behaving as if it's really happening. Sometimes we think our job is to get these lines out. And we're like, oh, gotta fucking get all these lines out. And because we think our job is to get the lines out, we go through a scene as if it's a narrow hallway where we got to get the words out. And because it's a narrow hallway, we end up racing through the scene and we're like, well, that was quick. How was I? But I want you to be the actors who break down the walls that you feel constrict you. And instead, you see the scene as a big, wide open playing field where anything can happen. These are just the words, but anything could happen in terms of thoughts, feelings, sound, movement. A scene is never about the words. That's why we throw the words away. It's about what's happening in the scene. And what's happening in the scene is you're in a car. You get to drive today. And the opening moment, what's literally obviously happening is you're thanking someone. Now, you're not thanking me. You're really fucking gonna thank me. So really fucking thank me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the nice thing is, acting's fake. I don't need you to make it real, but I do want you to do an improv about thanking me. When you are sitting in nirvana, this is where you want to be. Take a look at your first line so you've got that in your head. Okay, and tell me what your favorite movie was when you were a kid.
Gone with the Wind.
Why? I love that movie too. Why was it so good?
It was really long, and there was a horse in it.
Okay, so now just have faith. We're in a car together and start whenever you feel like it. And these are just the words you throw away. She's not kind of excited. She's really grateful or whatever. Here we go.
Thank you so much for doing this. Dave was teaching me to drive, but he was worried that with me dead and him.
Good. Look, you did a lovely job last time, but I'm going to pick on you about this line because you keep doing it the same way every time.
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, that tells me you're falling back into the way you memorized it instead of, where am I? Show me, look at me, my face right now so I can see where you're. Okay, well, why aren't you looking there when you say thank you?
Okay. I don't know, but I don't know. I went away, I guess.
You were right there. When actors say they went away, it means they did this. And when you do that, what are you looking at? Your vulture. Your vulture is telling you something when the scene begins that I don't want her to tell you because it ruins the scene.
Okay.
What do you think she's saying? When I say begin the scene.
The vulture? You're going to get this wrong.
Who is that? You know who that is. They're not here right now.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Start.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Dave was teaching me to drive, but he was worried that with me dead and him in jail, that, well, nobody'd be there to take care of Jack.
Well, he's not the most patient guy. Just it takes time to.
Yeah, but teaching a woman to drive can't be your favorite thing to do on a Saturday.
It's not about a woman or man. There's women race car drivers. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Where the hell is your rear view mirror?
Well, it's in the glove compartment. It was too distracting.
Beth, no, you have to be able to see what's going on behind you when you drive.
Well, I know that. I don't mind these side mirrors, but in that one, well, I can see people's faces, and
Okay, good. Stop. How to feel?
Different, more. Yeah.
Can I give you the word you're looking for? Less anxiety.
Less anxiety, Jack. Yeah.
Meaning your vulture wasn't squawking at all. That's what I love about this workshop is whenever actors have a beautiful adjustment and all of a sudden it becomes a home run audition, which is what that was. They always say it was easier. And that's because acting is easier than we thought. And if it's better and easier, that means it's better, not because we worked on it at all. If it's easier, that means it's better because you stop being worried about things you don't need to be worried about. So you've got to keep that at the forefront of your mind, that your vulture tricks you into thinking that person is here.
Okay.
Because she's going to do it every time until you really let her know that doesn't work on me anymore. And I promise you, it won't do it anymore.
Okay.
But that's called behaving as if it's really happening, which makes you castable. If you're not doing what you just did, which was easy,
Yeah.
they're not going to bring you back again. So why put anything as more important than that?
Yeah.
Good work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was so adorable and funny, funny, funny. Because she was behaving as if it was really happening. So we got real human behavior, which is what comedy is. Comedy is not clever techniques called the double back reversal or whatever. Like I asked a sitcom writer, is that a thing? And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. We write what tickles us, and the actor who comes in and makes us laugh gets the job. Who is up now? Let me see. Nick. Hey, how are ya?
Hi, Jack.
Hi, what scene are you doing? What's the characters? What is
I've
this?
got Billy W. from NCIS.
Oh, darn it. I remember seeing this. Billy is the name of the file, huh?
I believe so, yeah.
I found him.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know this scene. What is the scene about in a nutshell?
So he is being interrogated. He's already in jail. He's an arsonist, and he's being interrogated for a
I
case.
know. Yes, I know this scene. Okay. So it's an hour-long drama, and it says that we're in a prison visitation room, and I'm going to be a couple cops, I think, and we're trying to get some answers from this guy to help us. It says, there's a man in shackles. He's smiling, animated, lonely. Meet Billy, all too happy to be here. Hour-long drama. I begin, so you let me know when you're ready.
Okay, great.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Wayne.
Billy, please. Or Bill. Or B. Or,
We only have half an hour.
right. Got it. Busy. Catching crooks. Bringing down bad guys.
Thermite, your calling card.
These are good pictures. What kind of camera is this?
Really, focus, fire.
This warehouse. It's nothing but box, huh? Papers, box files, right?
And that's meaningful because?
Ignition point for paper is 232 degrees Celsius. They could have done the same damage with gasoline or kerosene.
Why use thermite?
Well, two reasons. Either to send a message or fun. Thermite's tricky stuff. And, you know, whoever did this, they may have wanted to be seeing how it plays, how it burns, you know, the ignition, the speed, the way it does. Thanks.
Good work. What's your experience today? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was squawking about?
I think it was giving me some result-oriented stuff about character. Like, oh, this is like a crazy person. This is someone who's manic. It was like telling me, I think that there was.
Okay, so what you don't want your vulture doing is talking to you while you're trying to act.
Of course not.
And if, you know, I don't mind if right before you did the scene, you gave some thought to character, but character lives in circumstances. So before you start the scene, I always take, it doesn't take me long, a moment, to remind myself the circumstances and have faith they're in my belly. Because if you put circumstances in your head, you're going to have what just happened happen. You're going to feel a responsibility to fulfill the circumstances while you're acting. And then you get involved in showing what the scene will look like in the finished product. Because you're going, see how I'm crazy? You're worried about it, making sure. I'm not saying you were showing me what the scene will look like in the finished product. Sorry, I was explaining to people out there what putting circumstance in your head does. But you see how it did let your vulture talk to you about the circumstances while you were acting.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you have a moment where you go, oh yeah, this guy's crazy, that's fine. We can't read your mind, but make sure that you throw it away. You're not stupid. You won't forget he's crazy. It's okay that the concept came back to you, but put it in your belly so that you don't start muscling the scene.
Right. And I guess that was maybe the challenge that I was, you know, that they say that this guy is animated. You know, again, I think that's where I'm having it in my head.
This is a challenging scene because if you make choices or muscle moments in a drama, the casting person will probably never bring you back again. And all your vulture wants is for you to make choices and muscle the scene. But this scene has circumstances that make that just a little more difficult. But Nick, I did feel you were muscling the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But not, let me put it this way. Here's what I thought. I thought, oh, I wish Nick had not only told himself I'm not going to make choices, but I wish Nick wanted to go farther down the road of not making choices than he ever has. I wish he went farther down the road of throwing away the words than he ever had, farther down the road of hoping we feel uncomfortable watching this. But that doesn't mean you can't have in your belly circumstances that, like, now animated is a terrible word. A writer wrote that, not an actor. It simply means I'm happy to be here. I want to help. I had some coffee. But you have coffee all the time in your real life, and it doesn't make you start making choices or muscling moments. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's an improv about I'm always in my cell and today I'm not. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get to help these cops out.
Yeah. But so we're going to do it again. And my only note is farther down the road of not making choices than you've ever gone. And that's not some acting trick. That's me saying you don't have to do anything you don't do in real life. If nothing happens, it's better than what you would put there, because in real life, we don't put anything. All we do is things happen to us. Secondly, it's not about the words. This scene is not about the words. None is. So you'll just throw the words away. It's a big wide open playing field where anything can happen. And these words will come out of your mouth when they're meant to. Throw them away. Have faith you have his thoughts and feelings. Number 3, hope we feel so fucking uncomfortable watching this, because you are not here for us. You are here to do an improv about not being in your jail cell today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say things you didn't expect, which will make you say things you didn't expect. And it's the 9th take. So we already have it. And so now you just go, well, we'll just see what happens. Fuck it. Here we go. Mr. Wayne.
Billy, please. Or Bill. Or B.
Yeah, we only got an hour, half an hour, okay?
Right. Got it. Busy catching crooks and bringing down bad guys.
Thermite, huh? Your calling card.
Wow. Yeah, these are good pictures. What kind of camera do you use?
Focus, Billy, fire.
This warehouse, nothing but paper, right? Box
that's meaningful. Why?
This paper has a combustion rate of 232 degrees Celsius. Whoever lit this could have used gasoline or kerosene. Do the same damage.
Why use thermite?
Well, 2 reasons. 1, send a message, or thermite's more fun. Burning it could have been to see how it plays, to see how it burns, the ignition, the speed, the intensity, you know, the amount of ventilation it requires or oxygen. You know, thermite's tricky stuff. And arsonists always run tests.
Good. That's a great drama audition.
It's so funny because it's like, you know, my vulture wants to say like, oh, that's not enough.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you about if you wish you had a richer, more interesting, more emotional experience, that's because you could afford to put more circumstances in your belly. And if you were auditioning for this tomorrow, I'm going to tell you the circumstances I recommend putting in your belly. But that's the fun of being an actor. You get to be your own director. But now you're castable in a drama because you're not muscling into making choices the way you were. You weren't fully behaving as if it was really happening before. Now you are, and so it's a great drama audition. But why don't you go at the beginning again and maybe start leaning forward and maybe have faith that you drank 6 Red Bulls and maybe have faith that some of your thoughts aren't healthy. That's it. Here we go. Mr. Wayne.
Billy, please. Or Bill or B or Barnaby.
Yeah, we only have a half hour.
Right, because you guys are cops, you got things to do, you're busy catching crooks, bringing down the bad guys. No.
Right. Thermite, your calling card.
Wow.
Okay, good. Here's what I wish. I wish instead of taking those circumstances and projecting them outwards, You had used them totally selfishly to see what it made you feel and think.
I see.
Because we see and feel everything you're going through in a drama. The camera's here. We see a new thought pass behind your eyes. And this guy has some darkness behind his eyes. That's what I mean by not all his thoughts are healthy. So do it again and say, I'm not going to make any choice, because just me putting that circumstance in my belly will affect the scene. If I did nothing, it will affect the scene that I had a Red Bull and that I have some dark thoughts. So start. Mr. Wayne.
Billy, please. Or Bill, Bob, or B, or...
Yeah, we have a half hour.
Right. Busy. Got it. Well, catching crooks, bringing down bad guys.
Thermite, your calling card.
These are good pictures.
Good. Nick, whoa, wait till you see that if this posts, because sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, that's what I mean. That is what I mean. That's a selfish performance.
I see the difference.
More happened to you. And I don't, I don't know where I would have loved if you had done an improv about never having seen these pictures again. And, you've had a Red Bull. Yeah. Because I didn't feel like the actor really cared if anything happened there for you. And as I always say, an actor should always have their tentacles out to receive gifts. And if none come, that's fine, because we have faith. We have the character's thoughts and feelings. That's enough. And that was the one spot I didn't feel like your tentacles were out. And the way your tentacles are out is to do an improv about being handed photos and looking through them when you're a person who had a Red Bull and has some dark thoughts. But it's still an improv about looking at photos of, oh, this is good. But yeah, because see, what you did before this was you were almost doing a filmed half hour, because you were taking that circumstance and projecting it outwards.
Right.
Wonderful. That was phenomenal audition.
Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome. Good work. Good to see you. So now we're on Kathryn. Here you are. Hello. Kathryn, what scene are you doing today?
Rose.
Okay. Have I worked with you before?
One time, yeah.
Okay. And I can hear you. This is from an hour-long drama or dramedy, same thing, hour-long drama. And Rose is visiting her boyfriend at his house with his family. But in this scene, this takes place in the bedroom, and her boyfriend, me, walks in the bedroom to find her packing. Okay? So I have the first line, so you let me know when you're ready.
Can I have like some stuff that I just like pack?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So here we go. You let me know when you're ready, though.
I'm ready.
What are you doing?
I'm going back to Seattle. The fat lady is belting an aria. It's over.
Stop it! Come on, you're being...
What? Overdramatic? Of course I'm being overdramatic. That's what I do. I overdo. I overanalyze, then I overreact, then I overdrink, and then I overshare.
Look, I know they were being a little hard on you back there, but...
Tommy, your sister compared me to a Pomeranian.
No, you don't understand. She loves little dogs.
Look at you defending her. I'm officially leaving for good.
Come on, out of everything that happened, it's the dog comment that pushed you over the edge?
I don't care about the dog.
Then why are you packing?
Because you're being a downward jerk.
I'm a jerk.
Yes.
I didn't do anything.
Exactly. You didn't do anything. Your whole family's coming at me like the birds in that movie, like, you know.
The birds?
The birds. And I turned...
Good. Let's stop there. Good work. So anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was saying?
Text. Like always. What
does it say?
It wants to grab into the text, but I try to forget about it because I
Okay,
haven't.
what does your vulture say about the text? Because your vulture is saying something specific. What is it saying?
Don't forget the next line.
I release and destroy my need to not forget the next line. As a matter of fact, I hope I forget the next line so that I need to remember it, because the moment when I'm thinking is the best moment of my audition. This is not a scene about a woman who knows everything she's going to say. And I'm allowed to paraphrase. And worst case scenario, if I go completely up, I'll just look at the script. They don't mind. It's an audition. But, you know, if you can paraphrase the idea of the line, that's better than looking down, because nobody wants to have to look down.
Yeah.
But here's the truth. When your heart's racing, your brain becomes superhuman, a supercomputer, and it remembers words that you didn't even know you had memorized. Unless your vulture's saying, text, 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 and then it puts pressure on your brain, and then you can't remember anything. So that's why you can say, fuck the words, I release and destroy, I need to know these words. Because then your vulture shuts up, the pressure comes off, and you end up remembering all the words. Or at least a lot more than you would have remembered with the thought, don't forget these words, right? Yeah. Anything else your vulture was saying?
I think I distracted myself too much now with doing something. Like.
Yes, and here's what I say. I love when an actor begins by being involved in what the character's really involved in, but a couple lines in, something more important is happening. Now, mind you, you could go back to it later if you want to, but this scene is in the show for a reason, and it has nothing to do with you folding clothing. Because all you want to do is leave before you have to just say these things, and then he comes in and he's going to say things you don't expect, which are going to make you say things you don't expect and you didn't want to have to say. Anything else? You want to share about your experience of that? Anything your vulture was saying? Or?
Yeah, I just wish like I could have been a little bit more loose. Like
okay, is the character of Rose feeling loose?
No, I know she's under stress. She's under stress, but it felt forced.
Then let me give you a new word then. What'd you say?
It felt forced.
Let me give you a new word for loose, because you're never going to feel loose when you act. You're always going to feel vulnerable and tense. I think you mean I wish I could have been free of anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy to do. You just say to your vulture, what did you say? You got to get these words perfect. Nah, release and destroy, I need to get them word perfect. I don't care. And then you're going to be free of anxiety. And also this idea forced is not, it means nothing. Sometimes in life we are forced. Sometimes we're having to say something we don't want to say. So it's not that you don't want to be forced. It's that you want to behave as if it's really happening. And what you're describing is, it was hard at times to behave as if it's really happening because I had anxiety.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Okay. We're going to talk about your life so you can remember how you really think and communicate. In the middle of us talking, we're going to jump into the scene. Without looking at the script, I just want you to bring right into the scene how you really think, communicate. And to do this, you got to let go of any way you thought to say the scene. And also hope you stutter and stumble. Because now listen, at this moment, actors think, oh, Jack's having me do it again. Oh, I have to want to do the scene again. Listen, I kind of never want to act. It's so uncomfortable. But guess what? She doesn't want to do this scene again. So it's okay if you don't want to do the scene again. She does not want to say these things, and she doesn't want to be asked these questions. All she wants is to leave. So everything you're feeling is appropriate.
Okay.
What did you have for dinner last night?
Cereals.
Where do you buy your cereal?
Key Foods.
When you were younger, where would you go to just be alone?
Treehouse.
How did you feel in your treehouse?
Creative, safe, cool.
Mm-hmm. And who? Why? When? What time? Which parent was the one that gave you chores or that gave you punishments?
My mom.
Okay, so now, fuck it. Start folding. You want the fuck out of here. It's an improv. Here we go. What are you doing?
I'm going back to Seattle. I'm going back to Seattle. The fat lady is belting an aria. It's over. Sorry? Oh, fuck. You're frozen. Damn it. Now you're unfrozen. You were frozen for a second.
Guys, that has never happened to me. Wow. Okay, so sorry. Here we go again. Listen, let go of any way you thought to do it and never go back and repeat a line. That's in a way that's breaking character. Just keep moving forward. Okay? But forgive yourself unconditionally. I want you to know you have permission to fucking hate me. You should hope we feel really uncomfortable watching this. We're not invited to you this moment of you wishing you could just leave. But the director said, I already have what I need. So I guess you don't have to do any of that brilliant stuff you did. I guess that means you can just behave as if it's really happening. Just want to surprise yourself. Oh, take all the time you want and you have permission to do it badly. But just throw the words away. She just wants to get the fuck out of here. Want to feel, but remember the character doesn't. This man embarrassed you. You loved him. You put your heart in his hands and he crushed it. Here we go. Get out. Start. Pat, get out of here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm going back to Seattle. The fat lady's building an area. It's over.
Stop packing. Come on. You're being...
What? Overdramatic? Of course I'm being overdramatic. That's what I do. I overdo. I overreact. I overanalyze. Then I overdrink. And then I overshare.
Look, I know they were being a little hard on you back there, but...
Tommy, your sister compared me to a Pomeranian.
No, okay, good. I'm glad you want to feel angry or I'm glad you want to, but whatever. Remember, she doesn't. Nobody wants to yell at their boyfriend, but what's really underneath this is you thought he loved you and now you know he doesn't. That's a lot of pain, honey. It's hard to look at even somebody in the eyes who you thought loved you and he doesn't love you. What are you doing?
I'm going back to Seattle. The fat lady is building an area. It's over.
Stop it. You're being...
What? Overdramatic? Of course I'm being overdramatic. That's what I do. I overdo. I overanalyze, then I overreact, then I overdrink, and then I overshare.
Come on, honey. Look, I know they were being hard on you back there, but...
Tommy, your sister compared me to a Pomeranian.
No, you don't understand. She loves little dogs.
God, look at you defending her. I'm officially...
Come on, out of everything that happened, it's the dog comment that pushed you over the edge?
I don't care about the dog.
Then why are you packing?
Because you're being a downright jerk.
I'm a jerk.
Yes.
I didn't do anything.
Exactly, you didn't do anything. Your family's coming at me like the birds in that movie.
Okay, good. Was that easier?
Yeah.
Whenever actors have a beautiful adjustment, and that was a great audition, they always say it was easier and more fun. Because acting's easier and more fun than we thought. And if it's better and it's easier, that means it's not better because you learned some new technique or we worked on it. It means it's better because you stopped being involved in things you don't need to be involved in. Things that make your acting harder and not as good, which was anything your vulture was saying. Because that time you had no vulture squawking, no result-oriented voice telling you to get it right. Okay, so here's how easy acting is. Next time you act, just tell your vulture, but no, I release and destroy my need for anything you are saying. And then you'll do what you just did so easily and so well. But my last note for you is a scene is never about the words.
Yeah.
It's about what's happening in the scene. Sometimes people are saying something and it has nothing to do with the scene. Because I feel like you can be tempted to be what other people would call on the words, meaning you think all that's happening is the words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's an improv about wanting to leave and the man you thought loved you is looking at you and won't go away and you don't want to talk about this, but he asks you things you didn't expect and it's going to make you say things you didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
Which you were doing. But there were just a couple moments that I was seeing echoes of what I now think I understand better, which is that you've got to remember the words you just throw away because it's not about the words. It's about the thoughts, images, concepts, and feelings. It's about what's happening in the scene. And that's why the words you just throw away.
Makes total sense.
I mean, you could just go, what, overdramatic? Yeah, I'm overdramatic. I overthink, overshare, and then I overdrink. I mean, it's like, it's not about the words. She's like, the words are just spilling out. She doesn't even know what she's saying. She's thinking out loud. But if you think the character's not thinking out loud, she's delivering a thing she thought of earlier, then you can't behave as if it's really happening.
Yeah. So
But anyway,
can I try just like what what?
No, because you did beautiful. That was wonderful.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I only picked up echoes of what now I see was happening earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That last one was fucking phenomenal. That's why I was so happy. And I said, easier, huh? Because when an audition is great, it's easy. It's uncomfortable. Fuck yeah, you were uncomfortable doing that last take. But you didn't have result-oriented concerns that made you think your job was to show us what the scene will look like, which made you able to do the 9th take, or in other words, behave as if it's really happening. Good work. Oh, sorry. I cut her off pretty short, but anyway, she's laughing. So now we have Tom. Hi there.
Hey, how are you, Jack?
Very good. Thank you.
Good.
You're doing Danny?
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever heard this scene.
I think this is one of those that your friend sent you. It's a Grey's Anatomy scene.
Yes, thank you, Hillary, for sending me these delicious scenes. This is from Grey's Anatomy, which is an hour-long drama, and it says that we're in a hospital ER, and that me, the doctor, I'm the doctor, right?
You're the doctor and the partner. Yeah, the husband and the doctor.
Gotcha. Says, I assess Howard, who is coughing nonstop in bed as he silences his ringing phone, just as Danny, that's you, Tom, walks in. He goes to Howard's side and takes his hand. So this is an hour-long drama, and you begin the scene. So you just begin it when you're ready, because you start the scene. And I'll talk loudly because I can see that your connection isn't great again.
Yep, you got it, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I see and hear you. But would you like?
You want to do it try it at the end again? Okay.
Yep, Tom. We're gonna come back to you at the end. So
okay.
Sorry about Hillary. You're up now. I hope you don't mind. I'm sorry that you didn't know that. Oh, you don't mind? Okay.
No.
Hello.
No. Hi. How are you?
Good. Are you doing ginger?
I actually sent you some size, Eve and Miriam.
Oh, Miriam. Okay, yes. Miriam. And the file is called Miriam, right? I have it here now.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about this in a nutshell, what's happening, because I don't know this scene at all.
My daughter has decided she's going to take off with somebody that she liked at work once. But then another guy came along and she kind of dumped him. And then the guy dumped her. So she's going to go back to the other guy, basically, in a nutshell.
Okay, and it says it takes place in a barn at dusk.
Yeah. So I'm I'm actually cleaning the horse. I'm at the horse corral and she comes in to give me this information. So.
Okay, and is this an hour-long drama or a drama movie?
It's a movie, actually. It's kind of like a family movie. Kind of
I have a feeling it's a dramedy then.
Yeah, it's a dramedy for sure. I just got it.
Okay.
It was an audition I went up for. So.
Oh, so you already auditioned for it?
Yeah, but I want to see. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I understand. Okay, good. So because I begin, I'm going to let you tell me when you're ready to do it.
Okay. Go.
I told Jamal I would go with him to Chicago.
Chicago? Wow, that's quite a ways away.
You could sell the ranch and come out with me.
Honey, you know that these trees are older than I am. You know that.
I feel like I need to do something for myself.
Do something for yourself or do something to someone else. I mean, driving to Chicago is a long way to spite a guy. I mean, you're a grown woman. You don't need to ask for my permission.
I know, I could use your advice.
Well, it's far for me to give advice, but since you did ask, it sounds to me that you are treating Jeremy the same way that you think that Adam treated you.
That's not true. It's completely different. I'm not leading Jamel on. He doesn't think.
Jamal doesn't think what? Oh, come on. Eve, you're driving halfway across the country with this guy. So, you tell me, what is Jamal thinking?
I've been honest with Jamal about the way I feel.
He's a man, Eve. He hears better with his eyes than he does his ears. You used to play up in that block. Remember that day you fell down and you cut your knee all open?
I remember.
And you didn't tell anyone. You kept that all to yourself. And you kept it there until it nearly ate your heart. You have been carrying hurt this whole time. And I have prayed to the good Lord that you would give it up to him, would you?
Okay, good. Let's stop there. All right, good. What's your experience today? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture is saying?
For only a moment, I thought I forgot the line, but who fucking cares? I don't give a fuck how I do in this audition, and I don't give a shit. I'm just going to have a conversation with you. So I got back into that, and I used that moment. I was searching for it, my lines, but it kind of felt like I was having a conversation.
Well, the goal is to behave as if it's really happening. So sounds like that's what you're saying your goal was.
Yeah.
I never say my goal is to have a conversation because to me, just it means the same thing as behave as if it's really happening. But behave as if it's really happening is a much more delicious way to put it than
behaving as if it was happening. Yeah, I felt like I was.
Yeah, I felt like that too, especially at the end. Especially at the end. So here's the issue. When you're going to do a scene, take a moment, please, to look at your first 5 lines because you just didn't know the first page very well, and that affected the scene.
Okay.
And you guys out there, you begin a scene, and when I'm told that when I go into an audition room, they say, "Are you ready?" I always go like this. Hold on 1 second. I look at my first line, my second line, my third line. Okay, that way they're just right there.
Okay.
You know? And I wish you had done that because
I know I went into saying I release and destroy. I release and destroyed.
I know, and guess what? You could have done both.
I could have.
You could have done both. You've got to be a selfish asshole who doesn't give a shit about the people watching you because we actually want you to take all the time you need.
Okay.
But the scene became absolutely stunning towards the end, in the second half, because you let go of something, and I don't know what, because I'm not in your mind, but I did feel you felt some sort of pressure, or maybe you were just feeling anxiety that you just wished you knew the lines better.
I think it might have been that. But
I felt like it wasn't until the second part that you were behaving as if it was really happening, meaning you weren't. I felt the first half you were muscling the lines and you were coloring words and not having faith you have her thoughts and feelings. Now, mind you, this is subtle stuff because it wasn't a bad audition. It just wasn't as beautiful as the ending where I felt like the scene became creepy real. Creepy real means it's like they're pulling a curtain aside and watching something they're not supposed to be watching. It's so much like real life. That's what the scene became halfway through. But also, Hillary, I can barely hear you. So
really? You know what? I'm going to do
closer to the camera. Sure.
I'm going to do this. This probably will help.
Good.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
It is better.
Okay, good.
So I want you to first look at the whole first page of lines, and then we'll talk for a moment.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, now the reason why you can just throw away these words and take all the time you want is the scene is not about these words. She knows her daughter is making a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a lot of thoughts about it. And then these words come out, but she's in no rush to say them, because none of them have anything to do with anything.
Okay.
What you're going through is your daughter's telling you she's making a big mistake. It's okay to want to feel, but push it down. Nobody wants to feel sad or scared or frustrated. If you did nothing, you'd be better than all the women going in there and talking too loud and making strong choices. You're going to go farther down the road of not making choices than you ever have, because more importantly, you're going to allow things to happen to you by behaving as if this is really fucking happening. And the words you throw away, because you have faith, you have her thoughts and feelings, and they're big ones. And lastly, you should hope they feel so fucking uncomfortable watching you do this, and you'll do that by not taking care of the scene at all. But instead of only being interested in your experience of behaving as if it's really happening to you for the first time. And the director already has it. So now he says, I guess just see what happens. Fuck it, here we go. You're brushing a horse, or have faith you do. So I told Jamel I'd go with him to Chicago.
Chicago? It's awfully far away.
Well, you could sell the ranch and come with me.
I've lived longer than those trees over there. You know that.
Good. Hillary, I want you to go further down the road of letting go of how you think these lines should sound, because
Okay.
we're not interested in your ideas of how the line should sound. If you did nothing but let the words just tumble out of your face when they want to and not before.
Okay.
Throw the words away. That's why because in real life, words just tumble out. You just have faith. You're focusing on brushing a horse because you don't want to do this scene with your daughter. And so, Hillary, you don't have to want to do this with me. We're starting. I told Jamel that I'd go with him to Chicago.
Chicago, that's awfully far away.
Yeah, but you could sell the ranch and come out with me.
You've been here longer than those trees, you know that.
I feel like I need to do something for myself.
For yourself or to someone else? Come on, Eve. Chicago is a far, far away, despite a man. I mean, who are you trying to fool? You're a grown woman. You don't need to ask my permission.
I know. I could use your advice.
Far be it from me to intrude, but since you did ask my opinion, it sounds like to me that you might be doing Jamal wrong the same way that Adam, you say, is doing you wrong. Okay?
That's not true. It's completely different. I'm not leading Jamal on. He doesn't think.
Jamal doesn't think what? I mean, come on, if you are driving all the way across the country with this guy, now tell me what Jamal is thinking.
I have been honest with Jamal about the way I feel.
He's a man, Eve. He sees better with his ears than he does with his eyes.
Okay, good. So here's what's keeping you from fully behaving as if this is really happening.
My hot flash? Yeah. Okay. Here comes, guys. Hold, please.
While I think this is a lovely audition, it feels as if you know what I'm going to say and you know what you're going to say.
Okay.
And when we think that we know what they're going to say and we know what we're going to say, then what happens is the onus falls on us to deliver it in some sort of interesting way because we know what we're going to say. So now don't I have to deliver it? Because I know, and you have to understand, almost every scene you're ever going to do is a scene about somebody thinking out loud. I could just use your advice.
I mean, I'm not one to intrude, but since you asked me.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that you are doing to Jamal what you said Adam was doing to you.
No. It's completely different. I'm not leading Jamal on. He doesn't think that we're going to...
Jamal doesn't think what? Come on, Eve, you're going across country with this guy. So tell me, what is Jamal thinking?
I've been honest with Jamal about the way I feel.
Eve, he is a man. A man hears with his eyes better than he does with his ears. Okay? You used to play up there, remember, when you were a kid? And that one time you fell and busted your knee open.
Yeah.
You didn't tell anyone. You kept it all to yourself, and you needed a doctor.
Hillary, friggin' brilliant. We see that and we go, oh my God, that's so easy and it's so beautiful and so full of electric, spontaneous, unplanned human behavior. And we go, why didn't she start with that? And it's because we put something as more important than that, which is a certain responsibility to show what the scene will look like in the finished product, instead of just saying, no, I'm only here to behave as if it's really happening. But what we learned is that when you remember, oh yeah, I don't know what she's going to say and I have no idea what I'm going to say, all of a sudden behaving as if it's really happening becomes very easy. And then you can actually feel things instead of coloring the words as if you're feeling things.
You know what was interesting? Because I was, oh my God, am I going to say the right words and slow down? You know, that little self-talking mind, bullshit. I let it go and I connected with you. And
No, in real life, let me put it another way. I know that it felt like you let it go and you did a thing called connecting, but connected is what we always are. We're always connected. But in a scene, sometimes we're with the person and sometimes we're in our own thoughts and not connected at all.
But I wanted to be with you because this is my daughter. And I
know, but listen to me.
Yeah.
Everything you're explaining to me is wonderful. I'm telling you the way you're verbalizing it is unhealthy.
Okay.
Because it will make you, the next time you act, think, I have to connect with my scene partner.
Okay.
And that's not why it was brilliant. The reason it was brilliant is that you were behaving as if it's really happening. And nothing was more important than that. And if you just don't label the definition of acting as something other than it is. Don't start calling acting as when you're really connected. Right. Or acting is when you really want to be with the person. It's not, no, those are delicious things you felt, but you felt those things because you were doing the ninth take, behaving as if it's really happening, but not caring what it looks or sounds like, just doing it for your selfish experience of saying, I'm not doing a scene about these circumstances. I'm going to behave as if these circumstances are really fucking happening to me, which is I am talking to my daughter about a mistake she's making. Yay. And you did it beautifully because you let go of things, not because you picked things up, an acting technique, a connection to your scene partner. No, you let go of responsibilities that let you do that so easily, because you'll agree that was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was super easy.
I know.
Super
great work. Great work. So do that the very first time. Say, when your vulture goes, yeah, but don't you want to be concerned about this? Say, no, that ruins my auditions. Even though it sounds like it's going to make me feel safer or more comfortable, it will ruin it. Because I can't achieve perfection. I can't make perfection happen. I can only receive it spontaneously. Good work.
Thank you, Jack. As usual.
You're welcome. G. Smola. Gabby, are you ready? Hi.
Hi.
What scene are you doing today?
Ginger.
Oh, marvelous. I don't think I know these sides at all.
Yeah, you sent me a bunch. You sent me like 30 completely new
Yeah,
ones.
thank you, Hillary, again, for all your delicious scenes. Is this a drama?
I think so.
Okay. It says that we're in a Christmas castle, Ginger's Malibu Bow bedroom.
What's
and
a
me,
Christmas castle?
huh?
What's a Christmas castle?
Well, if you've memorized the scene and done your scene comprehension and you don't know, then it doesn't matter. Just have faith in the Christmas castle.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
it would only matter if it affected the scene.
Okay.
It says a shirt. It says really probably what matters is it's a Malibu Bow bedroom. You're in a bedroom in Malibu.
Okay.
But it says, oh, Malibu Bow is me. You're in Ginger's Malibu Bow bedroom. Anyway, I'm shirtless. My name is Bo, and I'm disoriented and confused, and I walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea who you are? Are you a friend or a doctor or what's happening?
So we're social media influencers, and our agents had this idea for us to pretend that we're dating, but we're not really dating. Yeah.
So this may be a dramedy.
Yeah.
Sounds like kind of a movie for teens or something, which is not a comedy necessarily. It's a dramedy. Let's decide that's what it is.
Okay.
So here we go. You let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, I don't really remember anything.
The memory loss is only temporary. Derek insisted on bringing you here to just avoid that publicity, since
Are you my girlfriend?
Well, you and I are pretending so that we can get more views.
Views?
We're social media influencers. I do all these like Christmas videos, and you're this wild skateboarding guy. And recently people haven't been watching us so much, so our agent just came up with this gimmick that we are in love, and maybe people will start watching us again.
Why would I need to pretend to want a wonderful woman like you?
Oh, you must have hurt your head a lot harder than they thought.
Hold on, your name's Ginger?
Yes. Is your memory coming back?
I think so, and I don't think I like you either. Ugh.
Well, relax. Just sit down and get yourself together a little bit.
I haven't gotten my memory back. I may have fallen in love with you. Is that what you want to happen?
This relationship between us, it's strictly business. And to be honest, you've been way better at this.
Okay, we're gonna stop here. Good. What's your experience today? Anything come up you don't care for?
I got a little confused because I don't know. I wasn't sure this is a comedy or I don't know.
Anything your vulture was saying? Okay, good. So what I love is that I think you're swimming in the same water you were swimming in last time. So it was a lovely audition, but it's a scene comprehension issue.
Yeah, I feel like I wasn't really.
If you have no circumstances, nothing can happen. So nothing could happen in the scene because you didn't have any circumstances. And you probably felt like you couldn't ask me what the circumstances were because you probably figured I don't know, but I do now because circumstances are very easy to get. All you got to do is look at it and say, this is really happening to me, so what's happening? And I thought you didn't really do that.
I think I did. But
I feel like you were doing an improv about a guy has lost his memory, hit his head so hard that he lost his memory. I mean, that's a crazy thing. Don't you agree? Right. And it's also a scary thing. And it's also, I mean, it's just, to me, it just felt like this happens every day and nothing weird is happening.
Right. I left the most important part out, that he lost his memory.
Yeah, guys, scene comprehension is very important, but it's also very easy. but you've got to
Yeah.
make the circumstances the most important thing, because you can't behave as if
Yeah.
it's really happening if you don't know what's happening. And what's
Right.
happening is this guy that you've been pretending to like, who, by the way, it's clear by the ending, she does like him.
Yeah.
So it's an improv about having a crush on a guy who you two have been faking that you love each other. But P.S., you're falling in love with him. And then he hits his head, which is something you never fucking in a million years expected would happen, and loses his memory.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to tickle yourself, but don't make choices, because I don't think this is a comedy movie. It's like a romantic comedy, which means that's probably a drama.
Right,
But
right. Mm-hmm.
this is new. And when you say the memory loss is only temporary, don't fall for the trap of thinking she's a doctor. She's just thinking out loud. She doesn't know if it's temporary. We know that because how would she know? That is not an improv about telling him everything's fine. Because how could she possibly know everything's fine? He's going to say things you don't expect, which are going to make you say things you don't expect. Right? Fuck it. You already have the scene on film perfectly with all the brilliant choices to fulfill it. And the director says, I already have what I need. So I guess you don't have to do any of that brilliant stuff. I guess you could just behave as if it's really happening for the first time and just want to surprise yourself. Oh, by the way, take all the time you want and you have permission to do it badly. But somebody recently fucking hit the shit out of his head, someone that you have a crush on, but and now is like walking around going, duh. Here we go. Here we go. And it's probably bleeding a little. God, I don't really remember anything.
Oh, the memory loss is only temporary. Derek insisting on bringing you back here to avoid, bad publicity, and it's.
Are you my girlfriend?
Well, you and I are pretending, so that we can get more views.
Views.
Yeah, we're social media influencers. I do all these Christmas videos.
Okay, good. Listen, if this was really happening, that ain't it. I'm not saying this writing is good. It isn't.
I wasn't going to say that, but I thought.
You've got to be. No, I don't judge writing anymore. Now that when I look at a script, I go, this is really happening to me. And then I don't judge it. But right now it's feeling like you know what I'm going to say and you know what you're going to say, and it's a normal conversation. Has anything been more not normal? Meaning it is not about these words. It's an improv about something happening that is fucking crazy, and you don't know what to say other than maybe should we call a doctor? And then these words come out, but only because he's asking you questions. But that's...
Yeah,
do you
I think I
understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Nothing's good here, except maybe when he says, "Are you my girlfriend?" She's hot for him.
Yeah.
And that's something you can tickle yourself with, but it doesn't take away the fact that this man has amnesia, and you're hoping it's not permanent until maybe later you aren't. I just fucking, you watched me a moment ago fall on my head. How would you feel if someone you've been living with did that? Don't answer me. Who knows? There's no right answer. And then he walks in. Oh, God. I don't really remember anything.
The memory loss is only temporary. Derek insisted on bringing you back here to avoid bad publicity since...
Are you my girlfriend?
Well, you and I are pretending so that we can get more views.
Views?
We're social media influencers. I do all these Christmas videos, and you're this wild skateboarding guy. And recently, people stopped watching us. So our agent just, came up with this gimmick. So, we're in love, and people would start watching us again. And
why would I need to pretend to want a wonderful woman like you?
wow. You must have really hit her head harder than they thought.
Hold on, wait. Your name's Ginger.
Yes. Is your memory coming back?
I think so, and I don't think I like you either.
Just sit down, relax, and get your head together. And
I haven't got my memory back. I may have fallen in love with you. Is that what you want to happen?
Just whatever, this relationship between us, it's strictly business. And to be honest, you've been doing it way better than I have been.
Well, maybe I'm not acting, and maybe you're not either.
That's ridiculous.
Then why are you turning red?
Because it's hot in here.
Damn right it is. Admit it. You can't get enough of me.
Well, if I really am going to convince people that I'm dating you, perhaps maybe we should actually go on a date.
Okay, good. So listen, I didn't have any acting notes because your approach was good from the beginning. But now that was a beautiful audition. And it's quite possible that this is actually a filmed half-hour comedy, and then we could make that adjustment. But that was a fucking great dramedy audition for this audition. So many things were happening: the push, the pull, the love for him, the wanting to cover your own ass, the hearing, wait a minute, could this maybe lead to, and we don't control that. But boy, oh boy, if you watch that back, you would see so much is happening flying across your face. These little things, these little human behaviors.
You were so right. I didn't quite understand what it was about.
Then don't ever do a scene before you know what it's about.
I mean, I thought I did.
No. Okay, but now
you did it last. It makes sense.
Now you know the difference. You guys out there, if you don't think you understand the obvious circumstances, ask them when you get into the room. They want you to. It's very dangerous to start a scene without understanding what's literally obviously happening. And then everything beyond what's obviously happening is going to surprise you in the performance and be different every time. So, but now we can tell you understand the circumstances, and you're doing a dramedy audition, and it was marvelous and full of so many lovely moments. And because you were behaving as if it's really happening, so many things about you are pouring out of you, and we're seeing who you are. And the casting person's getting to know who you are and seeing that you're one of the 2 in 10 actors who can behave as if it's really happening, and she'll keep bringing you back to the right role comes. You know?
Yeah.
So proud of you. So thrilled to see that you've set down that old junk and refused to pick it back up.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Tom, let's see how you're doing. Oh, that looks frozen. Oh, oh no. Oh, that's so funny that we'd come back and it's literally a frozen screen. I wonder if I'm the one responsible. No.
No.
It doesn't look like
No, this for some reason StreamYard and my computer don't get along, and it doesn't happen with any other website, but
Well,
what is
I
it?
feel
I don't know what's best for me.
What?
Yeah.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
What did you say about what's best for you?
I don't know what's best for me because.
Yes. Well, look, we know it works sometimes, and you paid for this week for chairs, so you have a credit.
Okay.
And we'll have to just keep trying. I feel terrible because you're all prepared to act.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
you want to do this? You want to do a quick Zoom, and me and you will do the scene off this?
That would be great. I haven't had any problem with Zoom, so why not?
Okay, then why don't you send me a Zoom invite while I sign off? Okay, can you do or FaceTime? I can do FaceTime. That would be easier, I think. Yeah, I'll just call you right after you finish the conclusion. Okay, Tom. So everybody out there, wow, what a fantastic workshop tonight. So many beautiful adjustments. So proud of you guys. And we raised a lot of delicious money to help trans people make bail because they really are the people who suffer the most. Trans people of color in jail waiting to pay their bail, which often they don't have. And so we potentially have saved some lives today. I'm hoping you all continue to stay safe and enjoy your lives. And it was great to see you again. Till next time. Bye-bye.